Well, none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots, yeah. None of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots. I'm telling you now, the truth, the truth. Telling you, yeah, the truth, the truth. You have to go back to the roots, the roots. Go to the roots, to the roots. Yeah, man, this is Benjamin out of the Smiling Coast, West Africa, Gambia, representing for the one and only Abu, the big man you don't know, the Soninke warrior, the man that brings the truth, Soninke warrior, the sign of enlightenment, the Soninke warrior, the righteous and the true African. Abu, reveal the truth to them, no matter how them try run from it, because none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Yes, we have to dig back the roots, yeah. Fire!
Subscribe now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Afridamus Report. I'm your host, Afridamus. I want to welcome all of you to another edition of the Afridamus Report. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. AB, welcome in the house. We have DG and all the other people that are currently watching in the cloud. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Friday edition of the Afridamus Report. I'm today bringing you the opposite of your favorite topic, because Africans, blacks in general, love talking about racism, white supremacy. And many of you have heard me say there's no such thing as racism. And today you will get to see this, because I remember when I first came to America, and for me, because some people I want black people to understand in the West, because in America, they do not operate according to tribes. That's right. I'm gonna give you the similarities between tribe and and what they have in America. It's sort of like a tribe, but it is created artificially. And even the tribal stuff in Africa, you could say the same thing. But the only difference here is, both things are taught. Because when you meet somebody, for example, people that they would say, this person is racist. And it's funny, the people they would say this person is racist. When I meet them, for whatever reason, I don't see them as the way other people are seeing them. Yes, I get it. I tend to understand the lane they are on. But you see, that type of thinking is very myopic, is small. And you ask yourself, why do people, think the way they do? Why? Because maybe that person, whatever family they came from, whatever area, maybe they always was socializing with white people. And when they meet other people who don't look like them, um, some, depending on how they were raised to have a toxic, negative thinking towards other people who don't look like them. So in America, it's about skin color. See, white people, they they broke themselves. They're trying to break away from everyone identifying as white supremacy. Because see, white supremacy, trying to push white supremacy, obviously has a lot of, bad history attached to it. Coming, we're talking hundreds of years all the way up to, you know, I want to say the extreme part of it, it's like in Nazi Germany, where Hitler wanted to create a pure white race. That's how far some people can go. But because white institutions, they turn this into institutions, and it becomes powerful where they get the entire society on board. But when I came to America, I realized, I said, they don't have tribes. They don't identify each other like we do where I came from. But the complaints I hear from, like, some blacks would be like, oh, white people don't, um, these white people don't want a black person to marry their daughter. To me, that was not weird, because that was normal thing for me to hear. Because where I came from, in tribalism in Africa, not only within my area, that is something I have heard before. Like somebody would be like, no, you can't marry that person because you're not from the same tribe. Our tribe is better than these people. They look down on them like they are not qualified. They give different qualifiers. So me, I was not a hypocrite, and I will never be a hypocrite. You see, I never will be. So I was never in pain. I learned to roll with what I'm seeing, not how I think the world should be. So white people broke themselves into different groups in America. You are either a Democrat, a conservative, right? And now, they are adding more and more tribes like the LGBTQ. That's all a tribe. You have, even amongst the black, the BLM, that's all a tribe, where a group of people, come together against others. But tribe, when you say tribalism is not always a toxic thing. Obviously, I mean, all humans, for example, you came from a group of people. You can't avoid that. As long as you are a human, you came from other groups of people. So there's nothing wrong with interacting with the people that you came from. I'm talking in a healthy way, doing business, doing family stuff. But that doesn't mean you have to think you're better than other people. So in America, it is disguised. They are either Democrats or Republican. Look at how, because at first I didn't used to understand why, if somebody who is a Republican, if you call them a Democrat, they would get really upset. That's like calling like somebody's from a tribe that they see the other tribe as less than, from experience. When you mistake them for that, some people, some Africans, they get super extreme. But, and, vice versa, because people have concluded that pushing the white supremacy back in the days, it made sense for white people to push it, because guess what? They were the majority. They were the majority and still is. But some white people are like, hey, look, man, this white supremacy thing is becoming too toxic. you know um all the other people in the world that we are teaching our people, our children, about, telling them that these people are less than. If we want to think like this and work that way, it will be a problem. This is why it's easier to criticize white people, because white people themselves policed, they are policing each other about, what tribe to identify as. So that's why you would see some people, you ask them, oh, what are you, like, white? They wouldn't say I'm white, they would say I'm Italian, I'm English, I'm Dutch, because that word, that white connotation, became a bad word. So it's easy to fight against racism. You think that they call racism because half the time is based solely in, you are better than this individual. I was never affected by racism because you know why? I didn't grow up in a system where I was socialized in a hierarchy to believe that, to make me believe. Because you see how racism works is, the people that are being racist, like if you feel superior to one group, if you're raised in that system, the children, the children are taught to think this way. Schools even teach it. Subconsciously, you are there, you don't know, but they teach it. Not only are they teaching the white kids to be racist back in those days, it's probably still ongoing with some families. You cannot kill this form of thinking at all. So not only do they teach them that, the people, the receivers, for example, blacks or other groups that they believe they are, superior to, guess what? The blacks, they go to those white schools too. They interact. So their parents, most of their conditioned to think that way, to accept that position. And school further solidifies it. So this is why you would see so many blacks, they would talk about racism, and Africans in the diaspora. I notice majority of Africans, despite being in the diaspora, if you notice, they are super African, super tribal, super duper tribal. If you don't believe me, do the research that I have taken the time to do, to go to different platforms to, find out what Africans from different parts of Africa, you know, how they think. I was like, oh my goodness, the tribalism is real, and I have always known that tribalism, the toxic kind, the toxic kind is what is making tons, these African nations fail actually, because people don't want to talk about this subject. People only want to talk about, oh, let's talk about economic empowerment. There can never be economic empowerment if people have this form of thinking. Maybe back in those days when they had the little kingdoms, it was important to, because you're only probably interacting with your own little tribe. All your needs is within your tribe. See, I get it. Some of you pseudo intellectuals, people that have this fantasy of what Africa used to be. I don't know about other Africa, but from all the books I have read, from oral history, different tribes live in different areas. And even when you read the books, like when, for example, let's say Ghana, when the British, the war, the 100-year war they were engaging, The history was not written to say they went to war with Ghanaians, because no such thing existed, the nation of Ghana. No, they fought with a tribe, the Ashanti tribe. You go to South Africa, what history do you read? It doesn't say they fought with South Africans. They fought with the Zulus. You see, maybe other fringes, little tribes joined them, but purposely, the reason why I'm just giving you a history, and the tribalism is not always toxic, not always, because if you look at it in Ghana, the Ashantis came together, they fought to preserve their kingdom. Shaka Zulu tried the same thing. But you go to places like Rwanda, which was popular, where tribes, two tribes, you know, deleted one another. That's like the extreme end. You go to Kenya in our this very present days, not that long ago, because of politics. Because, see, in Africa, people don't understand this. Just like in America, how the politicians use race to divide the people, because that's the tribe, right? Because some people have been made to believe that they are less than others, and others are made to believe they are above others. The politicians, they know this. So they use that to divide the people. You see that during politics. You can also travel to the Horn of Africa, where you would see extreme cases of toxic tribalism, also would say clanism. If you look at the country of Somalia, why do you think is disintegrated? Because of this same tribalism. But don't take my word for it. I did some research to bring people in. I'll give you an example. This is not the first time I've talked about this. I have, in fact, had a conversation about this, I believe, about 2 years ago or so, on on Facebook, on the Gambian social media. Because if you don't go and search the talking points, a small country like Gambia, for example, what you don't know is maybe they don't bring it out in the extreme cases. But my mind is always blown by what the conversation is focused on. Is either tribe or religion. And I'm telling you, these conversations is not like based on improving other people or whatsoever. You would hear somebody, and it's usually one group of people. They would come and argue with each other. They are all from the same tribe, but somehow they create this fake fantasy to say, oh, these other people, this is how they're thinking about us. Oh, this, does that sound familiar? Does that sound familiar? And some, in some countries, they would say, this person, this is why it was interesting yesterday, the conversation we were having. When, for example, Rashid told this man, you're from a minority tribe, you don't have a say. Guys, believe it or not, I'm not taking a shot at him, but he is, what he is saying, there are people who actually 100% believe in this. And this is what they practice. Most African tribalism, the toxic ones, the toxic part of African tribalism, for example, they're not just gonna, most tribes, they're not just gonna come out and like, for instance, what you are thinking that they would attack you. No, mostly how tribalism works is you would probably not be aware that this tribe, these people, this is the view they hold of your tribe. But now, thanks to social media, where everybody is, you know, seem to be vocal, have a voice, even though some tribalists believe if you're from a minority tribe, you shouldn't have a say. So a guy one time, just we having casual conversation online, because online is independent. So I typed a comment, just being objective, nothing. I'm not thinking anything about tribe, but the guy, this is how serious tribalism is. He, because my name, he saw my name, so therefore, the person he was talking about, he associated it. He's like, okay, the same last name. So therefore, that would mean these people are the same tribesmen. So I have to associate them, put them in a group, despite he didn't like. So he came at me, attacking me on a tribal level. So I was like, this is interesting, because that person, I noticed, love talking about racism, love talking about white racism. Africans come to America, for example, they would say, oh, we are all one. But the moment the topic goes to Africa, you say something, now tribe comes into play. Okay? And in election, where people, they vote for the people from their tribe. It doesn't matter if the person is competent or not. They would practice tribalism. Isn't that what happened in Kenya, where people, side by side, you know, they actually fought over who's supposed to win? And since then, Kenya have shown a lot of progress to show that they they are no longer traveling in that lane. And you know, to be fair, though, like the tribalism, the toxicity of it is not as common in most of Africa anymore. Now it's done more and more through like the social interactions, the social means, to be like, oh, this person is not gonna marry in our, because in our tribe, because he is not us, he's less than, we do not marry these people. That is still practiced. So racism and tribalism, which one is worst? Imagine, for example, like white people in America, you know um white people, we all agree, blacks were brought to America from the Africans, were sold into slavery. Blacks worked in America as slaves for over 200 years. Slavery is over. But now, that's not, that stigma never is not stopping white people and black people getting married. You know, I'm sure some people are going to be like, man, some people are racist. Of course, you cannot change everyone's mind. But my point is, in America, you see white and black getting married. But do you know, especially in our Senegambia region, and I'm sure in many African countries, do you know there are people, there is hierarchy, all tribal. Some tribe would say, um, you cannot marry this tribe because it's bad luck. Or they would say this person's ancestors, this person has slave blood in them. If let's say their ancestors were enslaved and they maintained that history, that is held against them. So that's why I say tribalism is like silent. It's silent. The people that perpetrate it and the ones that it is perpetrated against, those are the ones that that are aware of it. You know, for example, tribalism. I cannot say I was ever affected by tribalism. I'm just being honest. Because like I was raised to believe that, you know, no human, no tribe, no group is above us. Literally. That's how I was raised. So therefore, when people even bring stuff like that up, it's silly to me. We go to, like I gave you example, how toxic tribalism destroy the horn, right? We go to Nigeria, the most populous black country in Africa. I follow their politics, and there's this huge, because I always hear the Igbos versus the Yoruba. You hear this, but you don't understand the dynamics. I'm like, okay, the Nigerians seem like very open-minded people, but do you know, like even in Nigeria, they are super tribal. I have, you know, tapes here that I'm going to play for you guys to see. But the shocker here for me, the shocker is, when people step out of the box, you would think they can see the full scope and be like, nah, being tribalist doesn't make sense. But I notice Africans from even various countries that live in the diaspora, especially, it seems like the longer they stay in the diaspora, the not all, of course, not all, but most, they seem to become more tribal. I don't know if they're just longing for that. And the same people complain about racism. Anyways, I don't want to keep you waiting, um, because I went and did some research. I found tons of clips that I want to share with you guys. Um, Even though most people, these subjects are super sensitive to you, but you have to understand, it's about how you receive this information. How were you raised? Do you think if you listen to this conversation, it's going to all of a sudden make you a tribalist, a toxic tribalist? No. Or unless if you feel ashamed about the tribal sentiments you have in your heart, how you were raised, well, then you are at the right place, because you will be able to join the discussion here and understand, like, toxic tribalism is what is killing Africa. Anyways, let me do my fair use disclaimer and we can get right into the videos. And we would go from Nigeria. We would have our own Dr. Umar tell us, what he's observed. Do you know? I even, because I've heard some South Africans that say we don't have tribalism. I found a video of a, um, a South African crying about tribalism. And also another question I want to ask: do you guys, from my observation, maybe I don't know, but do you guys think women, generally in all these societies, women tend to be more tribalist, and when you come into like the Western world, like America, like the women tend to be more racist? It's like, because women are the ones, they are the first teachers of the children, and they seem to be the ones that complain about racism or tribalism the most. But if you look at it, extreme situations like this, who who do they enforce this on the most? Women, because that's the only other way they can control that ideology to have it going. Anyways, let me do my disclaimer here, and fair use, and we'll get straight in the video. We'll have Dr. Umar here. I have a clip from a South African, a couple of clips from Nigeria, and then I'll open up the line. Here we go.
When I travel, especially Africa, but it's true in the Caribbean also, Black people are more concerned with their tribe being in control than they are with liberation from foreign control. Are you following me? I've seen it. So when the elections is coming up, it's not about freeing us from white supremacy or Chinese imperialism. It's about, are my people going to be the president? Is somebody from my tribe going to be the prime minister? And because they're more concerned about tribal imperialism than African independence, this democratic scheme that they run on black people continues because we're so petty and so small in our thinking. I just want to make sure his people don't get the presidency. I'm not even looking at the bigger picture. The white man knows this. The Chinese know this. So they come in, exploit, finance both sides, so no matter who wins, they get all the reasons.
Dr. Umar, great observation. He's on point. The way he broke it down, you know, if you go to, maybe it might not be all, but even Kenya, that some people might be like, they're advancing their thinking. For example, some people might say this, they might say they have a lot of educated people. But even myself, I was shocked to even see Kenya, their election back a few years back, turn into, tribes fighting each other. There are most people in these countries, African countries, when it comes to politics, Dr. Umar is 100% correct. They are not thinking about, what is good for the country, what resource, who is capable. No, they go by, is this person from my tribe? In fact, in some countries, African countries, in fact, they they would say, look, it is our turn to eat. That's what they would say. They would say, it is our turn to eat. So Dr. Umar, coming from America, he's thinking black empowerment. He is thinking the Africans are being taken advantage of, right? So maybe, just maybe, have you guys ever taken this into consideration? Why it's so easy for like African leadership in most parts of Africa? It's easy for them to just sell out or easily want to get what's theirs and move on. Because if the country, especially if the person is from a minority tribe, where there is so much toxicity around this subject, right? The people are not thinking, nationally, to say, okay, now this is our country now. This is what our identity is. There's no, you don't, nobody's saying you're no longer part of that tribe, but your loyalty have to be to the nation. That's what would make these nations stronger. I mean, look at like the Europeans. You do realize the Europeans literally, like, because these nations, they speak in different languages. They are tribes. They are tribes, but most nations that are advanced, they came together, they drop down these differences, because if you look at even, the world wars, that is a tribal war. I don't care what the Europeans want to tell us. Go read about it. If you look at it, it's based on ethnicity, because Archduke Ferdinand, the Austrian-Hungarian Empire, he was the Archduke. That's what started World War One. He was deleted by a Serbian, a Serb, a Serbian. So Germany feels like this is their tribal brother. They have to, step in and avenge, his death. That's what started, World War One. You come to World War Two, when Hitler came, Yes, people say he was upset about the Treaty of Versailles, meaning when Germany lost the First World War, they had to force Germany and bring them to, a table to sign a treaty. And in this treaty, Germany was forced to rebuild, to pay reparation to France. Versailles is the border town between Germany and France, because they said Germany destroyed France. So they would have to pay, and a couple of other European countries. What did Hitler do when he became powerful? He's like, look, I'm not trying to I'm not trying to uh, uh, take over these other territories. I just want to reunite our German people, that are in Poland, that in Czechoslovakia. So he started stretching, even if there's like, so it's about ethnicity, and it can get toxic. I mean, so, more than one thing can be true, but I'm just telling you the base. You saw what Dr. Umar said, right? So that's all from different ethnic groups. Now, let me show you this video from the woman in South Africa. I was surprised that South Africa have tribalism. Here we go.
Tribalism. And first of all, I'd like to say my apologies to you if I came across as being tribalist, and my apologies to you that you had to go through tribalism in Venda. This goes to everyone that had to go through tribalism in Venda. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like tribalism does not happen in Venda, because I have witnessed it. If you are from Venda, you will know. If you are a Mutsonga, you will also know. Between the Bavenda people and the Batsonga people, tribalism has always been a problem.
Do you guys hear this? So sometimes, like she's saying, the Venda and the Mochanga people. So how most African tribalism works is, you would see a tribe, they would have this superiority mindset over another tribe. It wouldn't be like all other tribes. For example, like a tribalist, someone who is tribalist that is from, let's say, Gambia, if he's super tribalist, and a tribalist comes from Nigeria, they're not from the same tribe, right? They really don't care about each other's tribalism, because that Nigerian's tribalism doesn't work on the Gambian tribalist, and the Gambian tribalist, his tribalism doesn't work on the Nigerian, because they don't have the same principles they go by. They do not have like a common enemy tribe, because these tribes are from two different areas. In fact, they would even, I'm telling you, if some, for example, a Venda and the Mochanga here, let's say if they say they don't marry each other because one thinks is superior to the other, me coming from Gambia, away from their tribal, confusion, they would rather allow me, like if the law is they don't allow each other to marry this other group, they would rather allow me to marry any of them from that group, no problem, as long as I'm not from any of these tribes. So take that into consideration. Here we go.
Bavenda people and the Batsonga people have lived together for years, but the establishment of homelands or Bantustans actually fueled the hate between the Bavenda.
You guys hear this Bantustan? So for some reason, I mean, the Bantu, you guys have seen some people that come on these channels, they call themselves Bantu supremacists. So I'm beginning to think, like the different groups of Bantus, because I've heard several different people that say they are Bantus. They like to express this, superiority. They are like, we are superior. But I notice other Africans don't pay attention to them, because those Africans are not Bantus. So they could care less, So that's the difference. Like racism, white supremacy, is about color. All Africans All Africans are seen as one and the same, because guess what? The Europeans that were practicing, or maybe still covertly practice, white supremacy don't see that other man just as, they know, yeah, he's French whatsoever. But when the time comes, they will unite against, their interest, the black group, right? But it's not like that with tribal people. If you read throughout history, most places, the territories that Europeans conquered, they always come and unite. They have like a disgruntled tribe that hate the other tribe, would join and fight, because they believe these people would help them conquer this other group. So um that also have played role. Or they will unite if the group, because again, the white people would see the group as one, and they are all subjugated. For example, look at South Sudan. South Sudan, for many years, they were united. They were fighting against slavery, the Arab slavery against them. They were united, because when these Arabs were enslaving them, they didn't say, "Oh, this one is a Dinka, this one is a Luo," or the tribes. They were just enslaved together. They were all subjugated. So that generally is the only thing. When all the tribes are subjugated the same way, that's the only thing that can unite them. But the moment they win, they conquer, you know, whoever is subjugating them, guess what? They go back to their ancient, deep rooted tribalism. Look at South Sudan. When they said they were, now they're independent, the Janjaweeds are not, can't do anything to them, they're not subjugating them. What did they do? They went back to fighting each other. They started seeing each other as different tribes once again, but before they became one and the same. So I think maybe, I don't know, maybe most places in Africa, tribes never witness subjugation. Maybe this is, especially West Africa, maybe that's why it is more prevalent over there. But here we go.
The people and the Watsonga people. I remember growing up, people would say things like, if you're not dressed nicely or if you mix up colors, you will be made fun of for dressing up like Muchangana, or some people will say.
She's not lying. In fact, growing up, we have this same similar thing in Gambia. Now, we have similar thing. There's certain ways when you dress like that, like I won't name the tribes, but they would call you and say, that's the tribe you are. And some people, it's like when you say, "Oh, well, you are dressed like these tribesmen, are you those people?" They would get, I'm talking, really upset. In fact, some of these people, if they date a girl or a man from like one of those tribes that they see as inferior, they do it in secret. Like they would hide the person. I mean, just like maybe back in the days, when maybe a white person is dating a black, they probably hide it. So it's the same way. Or they would say, "Oh, you're dressed like those people." And people, that's like an insult and mockery to those people. I get it. I get it. Some of you will be like, "But everyone is the same." Yes. Humans, humans don't care. Humans would find something, whether it's toxic, whether it's prosperous, whatsoever, they would find the smallest thing and base the difference on that for whatever reason. So she's right. This right here, some of you watching, I'm sure you've experienced this or you've heard this growing up.
Changan. That's undermining and that's looking down on someone. And this does not only happen in Venda, or it does not only happen between the Venda people and the Batsonga people. Most people from Limpopo experience tribalism from every other tribe outside of the Limpopo province. And this is mainly because most of the people, specifically the Venda people, Batsonga people, and the Bandebele people, are actually a minority in South Africa. So when you go outside your own territory, you are most likely to experience tribalism.
You guys remember what I told you about the different tribes have their different regions? So some tribes, some of these people are much safer in their territorial area where they grew up, where everybody is from their tribe. So do you see how that is a problem? Especially now that, we're saying we're forming nation states. People should be able to be free and move around. Not that they're going to physically stop you, but the psychological, attacks, mental attacks. That's what she is talking about. And it's funny, yesterday, Rashid even mentioned that here. He said the minority tribe don't have a say. So that's why I'm surprised most people talk so much about racism, but there are many Africans that suffer from this psychological torture of tribalism, the toxic one. So people can't always point fingers at politicians. Remember, the politicians came from those communities. They they use talking points that would give them advantage. Ask yourself, why are they comfortable, you know, speaking the way they speak and the subjects they pick? Because they are from the community. They know that people will support them. So except Rwanda, which I know of, and maybe some countries like Tanzania, possibly, and Kenya, they've had the subject of tribal conversation. And if you know of any other place, you can put it there. So m- more and more places are learning. But if there's any place that truly need this tribal education, it would even be Gambia, for real, like seriously. Because I've been doing my research, following the politics, tribe, this tribe that. When you go on the ground, you don't see that. But these people are in the diaspora. It's a tiny little country. But these people, all they talk about is tribalism. And I'm like, what has your tribe done that the world knows about? What has it done? What have you guys invented? What are you known for? Can you stand alone and run a nation? And the answer always will be no. Like one time this lady was telling me about how she's from Gambia, how their tribe and especially their family, they are of higher, they are above, like literally this person was not afraid to let me know they are above other people. I was like, oh, who told you that? Like, who came up with it? How? I said, did you guys just wake up one day and came up with this idea? And because she lives in America, and this is somebody that like pointing fingers at white people about racism. So my question hit her, because see, most Africans do this hypocritical thing where they would be like, oh, these white people are so terrible, racism, this, even when white person cough, they say it's racist, right? But behind closed doors, they will literally, you know, talk with somebody and they would express their tribal views. And this person caught herself and realized, whoa, wait a minute. This guy is asking me questions that people never ask me, because that's how tribalism. Remember, I was telling you the people that the tribalism is supposed to be directed at, they are forced they are trained to see themselves in that position. So either A, you don't question it, B, you just get mad, upset, you in your feelings. Then that solidifies that they are superior to you. But in reality, they are not. So, and they like to throw in religion. Christianity or Islam. Both religions are against tribalism. So this is why I'm like, the these religions in Africa, you know, um, in most places it's not practiced according to the way it's written. Maybe this is why African nations are failing in it, because they go against what the book that people claim to believe. For example, there was someone on this show one time told, oh no, Islam doesn't accept racism or tribalism. Then why are you tribalist? I believe if you're tribalist deep down, you gotta be racist too. But sometimes these tribalist people seem to be the ones that are the bootlickers for whatever reason. So here we go.
And just because this is happening everywhere, it does not justify you doing it. Everybody shouldn't be doing it. We shouldn't be enabling it. We shouldn't be participating in it. In fact, we should be fighting it against it as much as we are all standing up against racists. By definition, tribalism is actually the state of being organized into groups or into tribes. This usually leads to attitudes and behaviors that stems from one's loyalty to their own groups or to their own tribe.
She's right. Imagine if like, let's say a country like Nigeria with tons of tribes, all those tribes, right? The people are loyal to their tribes, but not to the nation. That is a problem. That would create chaos, because you don't see the other man as the same as you. I've seen, I get it. I've heard people, they say sweet stuff. They like to pretend. They would say, we are all one and the same. Okay, fine. Don't just say it. What about the action? Action speaks louder than words. So if everybody is just loyal to their various group, but not to the nation, obviously the place will be dusty. The place will have lots of chaos, lots of it. This is what we're seeing in most places, even South Africa, where the white people came, and they civilized the place. I'm sure people are going to be upset that I said this, but you know most of you like to believe, again, because I've even heard people say, oh, the white man brought tribalism to Africa. Are you kidding me? No, look at the things that tribalists attach, that they fight over. That didn't come from white people. White people want the resources. The further people, break themselves into all these simple little groups, the better for them. For example, like me, I see myself as a West African. I can fit anywhere. And that is deep in my heart. Like, yes, I get it. I'm from a group of people, a tribe, but I'm not just loyal to that group, because I have actually left the continent of Africa a long time ago. And I've learned early on in my life that, you being a Mandinka, this person Wolof, this person Darud, or, Luo, Dinka, Zulu, whatever, guess what? It doesn't matter. In Europe, Africa, China, wherever, we are just black. We are Africans. Africans. But do you see why Africans, majority, don't want to let go of that tribal idea? You would think when Africans travel, they will eventually see it. This is why you hear people tell you, no, I am not black, I'm this, or I am not African, I'm this. This is why you hear that. But if you are forced to be in a group, in a team, yes, I use the word force, but it's not like somebody's holding a gun to your head your circumstance. The Europeans, white people, do you think all white people like the way it's working, the way they broke this down for them? You think they like it? They don't care about the people who don't like it. It benefits the majority. I mean, coming together and thinking, like about the same progress, how can that be a bad thing? You mean to tell me you would progress better by looking down on other people? So, um, let's continue. Mike said, Afridama, stop lying. You're Soninke before West African. You see, Mike is a tribalist. He is very tribalist against the Igbo. In fact, I got a good video here to show how a Yoruba father loses his mind when he finds out his daughter wants to marry, or son wants to marry an Igbo. We'll get to that.
Tribalism is actually characterized by in-group loyalty and out-group hostility. So the separation of black people during the apartheid regime and them being moved from their original areas of location and them being moved into homelands or Bantustans actually separated the black people of South Africa, and it left the minority feeling the pain. This actually led.
Did you guys hear this? You know why South Africans even are more united? Like some South Africans like to say, oh, you West Africans, you guys are super tribalist. The reason like South Africans are not, I'm sure this right here is not the common thing, but tribe still plays a huge role there. Because I remember back in the days, South Africa, even after, they used to have a chief there, Chief Buthelezi. Chief Buthelezi is a Zulu. The Zulus were, united, fighting as a Zulu group, to keep their own kingdom. But with the Europeans, when they displaced, because when you take people from their original homeland, like, how they brought the blacks to America, right? Even though some claim they were from here, but if they were from here, it would be hard to enslave them. But to be able to enslave those Africans, they had to bring them away from their homeland, bring them to Jamaica, all these places. So their circumstances became the same. So they have no choice but to unite against a common enemy. I gave you the example of South Sudan. So she's right. South Africans, they were moved. A lot of these groups were moved from their original homeland and displaced all over. This is why they are a lot more united. In West Africa, there are people who are still on their ancestral land from probably Lord knows however long. The same customs, the same teachings they passed on from generation to generation. Some of these people, they are so tribalist to a point. If you go against their teachings, they would say, we will show you. They would use all kinds of black magic juju to say they're gonna, kill you with the horn. And you guys know this is true. Let me let these South African women finish telling us.
To people exalting one group over another, and most likely people will exalt their own group or their own tribe to be more superior over the others. Mostly groups that are a minority will feel this because there's more people that will make fun of them. There's more people that will look down on them. There's more people that will just simply undermine them. People look down on each other for speaking a different language, for practicing a different culture, from coming from a specific area. So we should all stand against tribalism. As African people, we should actually look into our history. That is the only way we will all understand that we have common ancestries. Our totems and Itagazelozetu tells us a lot about where we come from.
Thank you. So you hear from what she told us. Now let's hear from, a white man who observed. I don't know if he's Chinese or, because it's good to also give outside group observation. Let's hear what this man observed. I mean, he's speaking about Somalians here. Like he's saying, Somalians are not nationalistic. They don't believe in nationalism. they are more loyal to their clan. So this is why back, in the 90s, you remember General Farah Aidid, you have the Darod clan, the Ishaq clan, you have these different clans fighting each other. Somalis, if you look at like Somalis outside of Somalia, they are super united, very united. If you meet them, you would say there's no way these people would ever fight each other. But step foot in Somalia, you would see the clanism kicks in. And this is not only Somalia. I mean, this is other areas too, just like I'm showing you these videos. So Somalia is no different than these other places. It just seems like they are willing to fight for, fight against each other for however long. But it's the same differences that they have that other people have as well. So here we go.
But the Greeks also said that there is a second kind of people in any given society. And the Greeks called these people the tribes people. When we say tribes people, we don't necessarily mean the fact of belonging to a certain tribe, which is a good thing. But when they use the word tribes people, the Greeks meant a tribal and a tribalistic mentality. And the Greeks said that tribes people are those people who are not able to think beyond their small tribe or their small groups. For tribes people, their primary allegiance, their only allegiance, and their ultimate allegiance is to their tribe. Their tribe is their God, and their religion is tribalism.
The man is correct. So he's right. So even though the topic he was talking about Somalia, but that's not how only people from other, Somalis are not the only ones that think that way. He's generalizing like tribal people are more, they are loyal only to their tribe. They cannot see any idea outside of that. What he described there, like I said, he was talking about the Somalians there, right? But his description, isn't that's what we're seeing in other places? You would even see this, in Nigeria. Now let's go to Nigeria. I have several videos for Nigeria here. Let's go to Nigeria. The reason why it's easy to be able to even talk about tribalism in Nigeria, one thing you got to give it to Nigerians. They are not shy about, discussing, even sensitive subjects. They are not afraid of it. They would be willing to debate. They would put it out either in comedy or in tense conversations. So this is why most of the things, it would look like it's only in Nigeria. No, it's because the Nigerians are willing to talk about it. So let me give you a couple of examples here. Now we're going to Nigeria.
A lot of African people confess that, oh, Americans are racist. They treat me bad at work, at school, everywhere else I go. Yes, that's very correct. But in Africa, we have something worse, and it's called tribalism. There's no hate stronger than the hate that you have for people that are the same as you, just from a different tribe. That's so sick, and we need to change that mentality.
Guys, some of you would, most tribalists, I know some, even some people that are from my tribe who are very tribalist. I'll tell you, man, I have heard some of the craziest thing. Like some of these adults, like growing up, like from even my tribe, if there was a handbook on how for us to be tribal, or like, it would be worse. It's no different than the KKK handbook. The only difference is we are not willing to go as far as deleting you, But I remember one time, I was young, and one of the adults from my tribe, you know, like we ate our food when, and there was leftover. And the whole time we were eating, there was a couple of guys sitting there. And in Africa, especially West Africa, is you'll be like, hey, come on, come join us and eat. But I noticed they didn't call these people to join us. So I'm young, I'm a kid, and I'm like, why didn't they call them? One of the adults put me to the side. He pointed to me. He said, we are above these people. Under no circumstance should we, sit and put our hands together in the same bowl. They are beneath us. When we eat and finish, we give them our leftovers. I saw this with my own eyes. So from a young age, I just despised tribalism altogether. I was like, this is sick. This is sick. Even as a little boy, I knew. I was like, this is sick, man. You see? So let me show you a discussion here. I've been wanting to play this discussion, but it was from DW. So I got lucky. I found the video of it on TikTok, so I don't get, copyrighted. But this is conversation with young Nigerians. But before we get to that, let me show you an example. Even Nollywood did a video, like a film about the tribalism, how some people think, you know. Here we go.
Who is the lucky man?
His name is Uchenna.
He's got an Igbo name. So this is Yorubas versus Igbos. So the Yorubas have, like they would say they are the owners of Lagos. They kick the Igbos out of there. I'm not the one saying this. I found this through research. So apparently the Yorubas, are very tribalist towards, the Igbos. So he said, Uchenna, you see how quickly the father's face changed because she is bringing him an Igbo man. But let's continue.
Who kill Okwe?
Uchenna.
Uchenna. God forbid bad thing. Uchenna.
But Daddy, I'm in love.
You are not in love. You are under the love. In fact, you are in danger. Hey.
Guys, imagine a white man. You've seen a clip of a white man. Her daughter comes up and says, oh, guess what, father? I'm about to, I found me a good man. You're like, oh, that's good, daughter. What is his name? Instead of saying Brad, he's like, his name is Chukwa. Oh, Tyrone. Oh, no. Tyrone? No. It's like, I'm in love. Oh, no. You're not in love. It is dangerous to be with Tyrone. You guys would say he is super racist. I know this is a funny comedy, but this is how some of these adults think.
You don't know. You are not in love at all. Omo Igbo. For you to marry Omo Igbo, lie.
Well, Papa, she's a Yoruba girl.
Huh?
Yeah. So that was the Yoruba father. He said no to the Igbo. Now let's see how the Igbo father reacts to his son trying to bring a Yoruba wife.
Her name is Kike.
Do you guys see how the father is screaming? Even though this is a movie, guys, you don't understand. I have seen things like this. One of my relatives, but that was a race thing. He tried to marry a white woman. Oh my God. They said a white woman. The father went around and called all the elders, you know, to call a meeting. He's like screaming, saying he cannot believe his son is going to marry a white woman. He was behaving just like this guy here.
Why are you shouting? Did I say anything wrong? Papa? Are you okay? Papa, why are you doing this to me? Papa, you're meant to be happy for me.
What did I do?
Papa, just calm down and try and understand what I'm saying.
Upon as I take train you. Good food. What take train?
Do you hear what he's telling him? He said, what did I ever do to you? I raised you up. I gave you good food. I mean, this is how this is how they act. Like, I'm talking, even though this is a funny movie, but they are depicting how these tribal fathers act.
Good soup. What take train? Better thing. What prepare what take train. Now pepper and oil you want go lick.
So you guys see that? That's they're showing you both sides. I'll show you the last clip and I'll drop the link. And I know some of you tribalists right now, your fingers are shaking. You can't wait to come here and defend your tribal ideology. But here we go.
Of tribalism begin in Nigeria?
Well, the issue of tribalism begins in the pre-colonial period. Okay, as you mentioned, Nigeria is home to multiple ethnic groups, so people existed in their different ethnic levels, and then we had the colonial period. Okay, and when the colonial masters use the issue of tribalism, okay, to rule the country for their benefits. Okay, and then we had the post-independence period. That's the post-colonial period. That's where we had the coups, and then we had the counter coups, and then of course the first coup was there are different positions that it was an ethnic coup because of the selective targets, okay, of those that were involved. But there are also opposing arguments against that. Well, of course, that's the history. That's how it came down. I mean, the pogrom that followed after the second coup, which was a counter coup to the first coup. I mean, lots of people from the Eastern extraction were guilty. Were there.
So the guy is right. You know how some people like to say, "Oh, the Europeans are the ones that brought the tribalism." No, this is pre-colonial, like he said. I mean, sometimes I don't get some of you people. You don't understand when you say things the way you say it. You are in fact, reducing Africans to the level of, people who have zero brain, not at all. Like everything we know today or practice, if it's bad, it's Europeans that brought it. When in fact, Africans are their own people. It's if people are ashamed to claim to be tribalist, it means it's not a good thing, right? So that's why we got to talk about it so you change your thinking. So, yeah.
Okay, and that was quite a problem, and that has formed part of the whole fabric and of the whole system.
And guys, the link is in the chat. Do not hesitate to hit the link and join the conversation.
System of Nigeria as a country.
Yeah, so a very dark and sometimes violent history because of tribalism. Let me hear from you, please.
Thank you, Edith. So historically, we used to do infighting a lot. Pre-colonial period, there's a lot of infighting amongst the Yorubas. In fact, they do not call themselves Yorubas as a term or a tribe. It's a tribe they helped them build. For the Hausas too, it is the same thing. They used to always fight amongst themselves. And the Igbos, especially the Igbos, because the Igbos, they even have a saying that Igbo Amagieze, I'm not an Igbo, I'm Fulani Igbo. It simply means the Igbo has no king. In essence, they have no central authority. They are just towns. Let's say this is a town, another town, and they're always fighting from one town to the other.
So you've raised a very important point. Oh, I really love the enthusiasm here, but I have to center back the debate for a second. Walking around Nigeria today, I mean, I can't distinguish between an Igbo, a Yoruba, a Hausa. So how does it manifest in contemporary Nigerian life?
The other day I was online and then someone, said that the Yoruba tribe like formed or made, Nollywood, which is the third biggest movie industry in the world. People were saying, oh, no, this one was struggling. It's the Igbos. And this person said, no, it's the Hausas. And I was just thinking about something. I'm like, why do we have to bring the whole nature of tribe into this conversation? I'm from a minority tribe. We don't even make noise. But does it mean that I'm less talented? No. Right now, no.
Exactly. She's right. Again, so in the open, you're not going to see most Africans, talking their tribal talk, but social media is this part. So that's why we're having these conversations here.
On social media, you could see people insulting themselves, people throwing jabs at each other and I ask, where is humanity?
Yeah.
All right. You guys see that? Like I said, the most populous country in Africa, even that country has, tribalism. But like the lady said, if you go to Nigeria, because she's not Nigerian, when you walk around, you're not gonna know, like, people think like that. Just like when you go to any of these countries that you know nothing about, it's gonna look like, this doesn't exist. So that tells me that, maybe, just maybe, these conversations, because these people are pushing their agenda online, so we can have the same conversation and push back. And you tribalists that are watching, do not be afraid of calling in. I'm not here to pick on you whatsoever. We just want to hear your experience. Why you're a tribalist, or if you're not, what do you think? Do you think Africa can continue on without tribalism? Thank you. All right. St. James in the house. Guys, do not hesitate to hit the link. St. James, how you doing?
I am doing fine, my brother. How are you feeling today?
Oh, I am well. St. James, what do you think, like I said, African nations, most of them are weak because of tribalism, how some people hold on to tribes so much, like they don't care if the man that can do the job, he's got the best ideas. They just want to see somebody from their tribe be in charge. And also the video clips you've seen, are you surprised to see even places like South Africa, there's still tribalism in some places?
To be honest with you, I'm not very surprised, because coming to the United States has allowed me to meet a lot of Africans and know about the history and the background. Even when I was in Africa, I didn't take that matter seriously,
Right.
So, but once I came to the United States and I met a lot of Africans, I kind of realized that, yes, those issues exist in different countries.
Right.
In certain parts, not too prevalent than certain parts, So I was flabbergasted about certain story that I heard from Africans themselves talking about them, like laughing at it and thinking it's
exactly
funny.
Yeah,
Right.
that's like somebody, for example, those same African people would complain about racism, even if a white person that the person might just be an asshole, or they did something to the person and the person responds in a way they didn't like. All of a sudden they take it to heart. They said it's racist. But you're right. When it comes to some of these even toxic tribal talking points, they would laugh about it.
Yeah, they would laugh. I'll give you an example. Like I had a Senegalese friend, right? We're talking. I was like, he was talking about the caste system in Senegal. I was like, unfortunately, in my country, we don't have that, right? We used to have it, but you would not see that again. Like, we don't talk about it. But it was like, yeah, in Senegal, the people will judge you based on the name of your family.
Yes.
Let's say I am
The group.
a Tiam, right? I'm a Tiam or I am a Sal. They will exactly know which tribe I come from.
Yes,
And the
and
Tiam,
which
right.
level you're from.
The-
Yes, this is
Thank
true.
you. And
It's in
right,
Gambia too.
right. And the Tiam would not even dare trying to go with a girl from the SARS and the whatever. I was sitting there listening. I'm like, are you serious? They're like, yes. A Senegalese will ask your last name. And if, like me being a Burkinabe, right, a Senegalese can ask me my last name, but I wouldn't know what he's reaching for, you know?
Yes, well, that's the thing.
Right.
Even this is common when you
Right.
go to even like for example, Gambia, Senegal,
Yeah.
Gambia, the same thing. They will, like
Mhm.
someone when they're talking to you, they
Right.
will ask you your last name. So
Absolutely.
you are not paying attention. You don't
Right.
know.
Right.
They are just gathering,
Right. Right. Your
gathering
background information.
information
Yeah.
on you, background, what
Yeah.
class system, what system you are from.
Absolutely. We went at it for months, even years. I was like, sir, I'm not for this, and I don't get why you guys are still doing this. But for them, it's like it's in them, you can't get rid of it.
Right.
I'm not saying some of it doesn't exist in mine, but by your last name, nobody will judge you based on where you come from. No one cares. You know, like I said, my tribe is like the majority there. So all these little tribes, they have a good time in my country. We don't, but we only had a problem with one little tribe, that everybody has a problem with. Not even a problem because they felt like that, because I'm glad that you talk about the Europeans, right?
Right.
When the European came in that West African area, they were a tribe that, because they were not in one place, so they used to escape.
Because
They used to escape.
they move around.
Right. So the European were having a hard time trying to settle them,
Yeah.
So basically they call them the warriors. These people are rebellious. So they use that when the European left, they use that thinking they can subdue the other tribes. You see what I'm saying? So when they tried, things didn't work out. So I'm glad you brought down Danfodio. The same thing when you were talking about Danfodio, that's why it happened in the Sahel. These are the descendants of the same people that came back trying to think they can recolonize us, put us under. So, and to me, Alpha Damos, they never had a situation where they overpowered us in our region. Never. So when we talk about it, I'm like, when was the last time you guys won anything? No history, no books, no nothing. So I'm like, why you guys want to rule them using Islam? So it doesn't make sense, but no one has the answer. I'm like, okay, why can't we live? We can't live together. Why do you have to make people believe what you believe in by force? Why?
But you see, a lot of I've also noticed.
Yeah.
Because I've mentioned the religion, right? You would see some of these people, they would say that, they would be like, oh, I'm Christian or Muslim generally. But that same person would tell you, okay, yeah, in Islam, everybody's the same and equal because, Senegal is majority is Muslim. Right? They would tell you that, right? They would say no racism, mind you, because if there's no racism in Islam, that would mean no isms.
We're the same, yeah.
No, that means everybody the same, right? So they like to use the Islam or Christianity to hide their tribalism,
Absolutely.
because they are pushing like a tribal law, tribal agenda, and that agenda somehow looks down on other people who are not part of that program.
Absolutely. And then when you talk to them about their own contradictions, then you get like what, trinkets? You don't hear anything. That's why all these things when they are important to Africans, you can't hide it. Like you can't explain it. When someone cannot explain something, that means that's not correct. Those are the things that you said we need to change. But if you're not ready to change it, then we are a failed society.
Yeah.
If you cannot explain that to me, then why we keep doing it?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
why Africans they don't want to touch. When I was back home for 8 months, I brought the tough conversation to the people, and I was like,
you had it with them.
oh man, I've had that conversation. Muslim, Christians, we spoke about it, and I told them, listen,
I had similar conversation with
oh my
groups of
God,
people
they
there. They
couldn't
got
take it.
uncomfortable. Yes.
Oh yeah, they couldn't take it. Some of them couldn't take it. I'm like, dude, once you're ready to have that conversation, let me know, because this needed to be added on the national level, so everybody would be in one page, show on the same space. Because when we have it individually, like in sections, no, it's not going to advance the country. We have to talk about these issues. I grew up Christian, a Christian-based family, sir, but I don't follow that thing. I don't follow it. And even I went home, my own family, I talked to them, they're like, nah, man, every Sunday they're still in church. I'm like, all right, man,
yeah,
that's good. That's good. If that's what you want and that's what bring peace to your family and your home, good. But the other stuff, man, let's be honest, this is
and
not going
because
to
if you
take
look
us
at
nowhere.
it, my assessment is, like most of these people, they are like more loyal to their tribal group than they are to the nation that they're, that is formed.
That's all they know.
So which, to me, that is, it would take a long time for countries to get stronger. Because if you look at like the interview, the debate we just saw, the tribalism in Nigeria,
Right.
Africa's most populous country.
Woo, yes, is.
So for instance, because if you you look at it,
Yeah.
for me, I'm surprised actually, like at the tribal sentiment that some people even have against each other, from Nigeria. Like I usually thought it's from like smaller countries. That's what I used to think, because the environment is so small that people, they are, maybe because the environment is small, their minds become smaller too.
Yeah.
But it's all across, because if it's in Nigeria, it's definitely in West Africa, except Ghana.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got Mike and Kidola here. Let me tell you a story, man.
Yeah.
Back home, when I was back home, I was still back home, and we used the Yorubas, man. The Yorubas were the first, like I can say the Yoruba was the first to come into my country, business people and all the 9 yards. When the Igbo people started coming, I met a guy. He's still my friend, the one you talked to when I was back home, Charles.
Okay.
Yeah. It's Charles. He's Igbo. So Charles used to come to me. It's like, yo, man, I don't understand, man. My Yoruba brothers, my Mike is here. He can explain it. My Yoruba brothers are saying to Burkinabés that we are not good people. And I was like, no, I mean, why? He's like, yeah, man, we have a situation. So I was young then. So when he was saying those things to me, I was like, So when I went back home, we had that same conversation again. And, I was like, in my place, people are not going to judge you because what somebody else said. Trust me, it's not going to happen like that. So it's going to be based on your own actions, and it depends on how you're going to, showcase yourself to the people. So he's been there. He's married to one of our sisters over there. He's having a good time. His brother's name, Prince, passed away. Good guy. And he has another friend called Chuka. They're doing good. Has a Igbo. So, but he was just telling me some of the Nigerian brother were telling Burkinabe not to welcome them, because they're not, I was like, well,
because of their tribal.
Yeah, because of that, but I was like, nah, man. Even when I came to the state, my own roommate back then, Igbo guy, same thing. We met, Keke, I live with him. He took me out. We went to have a dinner. It's like, yo, man, I know what you think because the Yoruba, the Igbo. I'm like, dude, bro, come on, stop it. I'm not judging you because of what somebody else said. Your own action. But we're still good friends. And you went to Oregon, I came to Colorado. We still talking. That's how I look at it. I don't go places when Africans don't understand this. When they become tribal, they talk about their own. Even when they start talking about their own country, sometimes you have to sit and watch how they talk about their own country.
Right.
So that way you know they're talking in a way to down somebody else.
Right.
So
yeah, that's why I'm shocked. Like, cause doing, like I watch some of these people especially from my own country, like they will be online, you know, and these people are in the diaspora. They seem to hold on to, you know, tribalism. Like I'm talking some of these tribalism, even myself, maybe because I've lived in America for so long, like I even don't, I'm like, that doesn't even exist. But this is 2024. This does exist in people's minds.
It is. It is. Unfortunately, it is. You know, but you know, as a responsible man, when you see that happen, stay away from it. That's the best response you can bring to those situations. Stay away from it. Let them know, hey, go, keep going, do what you gotta do. I'm gonna be over here, but we will see. We'll prosper. You know, that's all I. That's the answer I have for those Africans. You know.
Yep. Let's bring in Kidola. Hold on. Let me read this real quick. MS Delta said, Afridamus, I saw tribalism between Yoruba and Igbo when I was in college. It was shocking. A lot of African women had cat fights among tribes. Yeah, that's why I'm thinking. I'm like, is it more extreme amongst women? But let's bring in Kidola. Kidola, welcome to the Afridamus report.
Thank you, Fridamus, man. Thank you very much. Sam James, thank you, man. Mark, you there? I saw you, bro. You see,
Kidola, you saying hello to Mike the Igbo man?
the Mike is a Yoruba guy. He's a nice guy. I think what you see, I think because most people see this in Nigeria, we know how to navigate these things. Because look, if you go to like bigger cities, right? Let me just give you an example. Understand tribalism, because you see, after the colonization there, we didn't really have the space to really analyze ourselves.
Right.
So the white people join us together to form one nation. You understand? A country. So inside this country, they already have their own space and their own thinking, the way they do their things and everything. Even when it's similar, there's not really no difference like that. But during the colonialism, they all joined together to drive away the white man and everything. But you have to understand, the truth of the matter, the Igbo was the last people to accept other people. Let's just be honest. You know, the Igbo.
What is that?
Because the attitude today to some Igbo people, if you as an Igbo man married to a foreign girl, let me say, girl that is not an Igbo girl, actually they don't even respect that girl. Attitude today. So the Yorubas are far more simple, simplistic. You understand me? They don't really care about your marriage as long you just get married and you're happy. You understand me? But the Igbo, if you're not an Igbo, and way back when I was growing up, I swear to God, if you like the Igbos who do business like outside their territory, if you marry to maybe to a Yoruba girl, they will say, no, you didn't marry yet.
You know what, Kidola, is interesting you saying this. There are this thinking, you know, some people in like Gambia, like they have this thinking, like if they marry like a white woman, they would just say, no, you haven't married yet.
Yeah, so
Yes,
that,
you're right.
you have to start today. The most people you see that marry foreigners might be person like me, because I'm closer to in terms of voodoo worshiping, in terms of
So how would they consider you?
No, because my culture is closer to the Yoruba people. You still can live close to them. You start, we have similar type of voodoo worshiping, a little type of tradition, and we already have. So for me, I'm already married. So if you see a Nigerian guy that really married for a long time with a foreign person, with a white woman, neither is a Yoruba or is somebody from the middle belt, south. What I mean, Midwest.
But did you see Mr. Ibu almost had a Mr. Ibu had a almost had a
yeah. So the Igbos are still a little bit. They're not there, but they're coming up. But for those Igbos that grew up in Lagos, for those Igbos that grew up with Yoruba people, you understand me? I swear to God, there were some of because of their so-called high cost in marrying in their territory, because you need to pay a lot of dowry to marry in their territory. So they will tell their parents.
Wait. like if you're not from there, you gotta pay a lot of money.
No, the Igbos, they say, pay a lot of money those days in marrying themselves. You understand me? Igbo culture to Igbo culture. You understand me? So these guys that grew up with people from Lagos, people from big city like Ibadan, other big areas. Some of these guys that grew up there tend to marry some of these girls that they grew up together with. You understand me? That's
But
why
why
Lagos.
can't why can't they just identify as Nigerian?
Look, we are as far as Nigeria, but you have to understand nobody want to lose his territory where it's coming from. Even when the Yoruba get married to an Igbo man, doesn't mean because he's married to an Igbo man is not an Igbo person. No, the man still regard her as a Yoruba person, and she still have to carry that identity. Only the child, the whatever came out of that marriage is an Igbo child. You understand me? So that's why if you see people like the Davido grandmother is an Igbo woman. You understand me? But Davido doesn't relate to say, oh, I'm an Igbo because it's his grandmother. Davido grandfather is a Yoruba person from Osho State. So Davido, Uncle Sam, they are Yoruba people. You understand me? Person like Burna Boy, mother is a Yoruba woman, but married to somebody from Port Harcourt. But Burna Boy is from Port Harcourt. So we still want you to keep your identity and you know and who you are. So it will never change in Nigeria, even when we're open-minded. But you have to start, if you live in these big cities, they generally accept it because they could see that you have their mentality, you grow up like Lagos, Ibadan, some of these areas. I bet you most Yoruba men marry sometimes Igbo women also. You understand me? Like the late governor of Ondo State married to Igbo woman. You understand me?
So which one is more common? Like who is more open to, marrying another group, like to look beyond tribe?
I think the Yorubas.
Man, I will go for the Igbo, man.
The Yorubas are far more simple and far more because they were ahead. You understand me? They were ahead of about simplicity. You know, when you hear if you hear person when you hear person simple, you know, to be simplistic, even the way the Yoruba behave is very simple, simplistic. You understand me? That's why you could just buy a land in their territory, they give you space to stay.
But I don't know if I'm mistaken. I don't know if I'm mistaken. The Yoruba kind of marry early. The one that were in my country at age 18, 19, they were already engaged.
Yeah, because they take this very simple. You understand me? They take this very, very simple. You know, Yoruba man is not going to die for money. He's not going to kill himself for money. But the Igbo man, why sometimes we have you hear some words like be careful of the Igbos when it comes to money, business. You have to be very, it's a saying there that you have to be very careful. Or then you share money outside that, share money inside the house with them. That is just the basis of what other people see that is not too important, what the Igbo see that's very, very important. You understand? It's just about a little bit cultural difference, how you approach things that is not really valuable. So if you ever talk about people that are very, very simple, that can allow you to do things in their territory, even marry their daughter, and they will accept. You see, human being, I will give it to the Yoruba people because they are far more advanced in that level.
So when it comes to elections, for example, right? Because I've seen online also, like so many of these people, they try to base it on tribe, saying, oh, the Yorubas, they voted for this guy because he's a Yoruba. I was like, man, is this like all across Africa where like
but you have to understand, you have to start that you have two different type of dimension of what you have to be. If you have to talk about the Hausas now, the Hausas, I think the Igbo man will in a way grab to the Yoruba side than read at the Hausa side. You understand me? For me, sorry, I've never really seen to the Hausa person in Nigeria really deal with them. But dealing with them, you can see that for me, I'm still learning them. You understand? Because one, religious reasons. Two, the way they approach it is far different. So I would have prefer, if you ask me, to sleep in the Yoruba man house, eat his food, than me going to eat an Hausa food. You understand? Even sleep in his house. Because I'm not too used to who they are really. You understand me? One, the food, the type of, forget about suya. the type of food they're eating, I'm not used to it. You understand me? I'm more used to the Yoruba food, the Igbo food, and this other Port Harcourt food. So even inside Nigeria, we see what called the divide between the south and the north. The north have totally different type of food. You understand me? Which some is different, but we wonder if they eat fufu or pad yam or egusi soup. But they all eat all this, but something in our head, we wonder they really eating these things because we never really see them eating it. We can go to Yoruba party, eat jollof rice, dance their music. People like them, Davido, some of these Olumide, these are all Yoruba guys who sing all this music. You understand me? Ashake and all these guys. You see, that's where is in Nigeria. We also have the dimension, the geographic also location. So the Yorubas, the south is closer to each other. No matter how they will say, "Oh, I'm Igbo or I'm Yoruba," this. So Nigeria is a little bit complicated. It's like marriage that is very difficult to divorce among the south. I think it will never happen. Forget about this Biafra you're hearing or whatever you're hearing. The southern people, they are just too intermarried that for them to live each other very, very, forget about tradition, all these things from each other. But with the north, they will not hesitate.
So like Kidola, if you look at it, like are you surprised to the video I showed about the South African women? Are you surprised that they also have some type of tribalism there?
Every Africa have tribalism. Every Africa, you have to say Africa is created out of tribalism, not really as a nation.
Do you think tribalism, for example, because like there's nothing wrong in
the Zulu do like Mandela. Let's just be honest.
What,
the Zulu have no love for Mandela.
Isn't he Zulu?
Oh, the Zulu, no. It's not a Zulu guy.
Mandela is full-time.
Yeah, the Zulus have no love for Mandela right from the beginning to the end. Even until now, does it tell you they're Zulus? The Zulus wanted to form their own nation. You understand?
I remember Chief Buthelezi.
Yeah, so they're coming together. They have just one enemy, and that enemy is the ones that came there to rule, to dominate them and discriminate. They feel each other's pain. They could see they're the same, but they all try to hold their self where they're coming from. You understand me? So that's just the truth. I understand Yoruba, but I'm not from Yoruba. You understand me? For if you come to like my state, you see that most people have Yoruba name because some of their mothers are Yoruba. So the Edo people are boundary the Ondo and all this Ilefe and all this thing. So most of our men marry from this area. So if you come to my state, you hear Taye and all these things. You know what I mean? Even they brought that type of food also towards my own culture. So we share the same culture. That's why I said we worship similarity. We are more closer together with a lot of things than.
So over there is more in Nigeria. So it's more about similar traditions, food versus just tribe.
Similar, yes. You have to be similar because those are closer to the Yorubas. Those are closer to the Yorubas, right? Then, if you have to talk about next closer to the Yorubas, next close to the those, you have to bring out the Igbos now in. You understand? Because it's not too far. Some of them grow together, so they have a lot together. But way back, it's like 40s, 30s, even into 60s and early 70s. An Igbo man have to come home to marry an Igbo woman. You understand me? So if you marry outside, they'll say, "Oh, you didn't marry yet." But now that thing have died there. Outside, the Igbo have some certain things in their territory there about Oshu or not Oshu or whatever it is. You understand me? I think they need to do away with all this. That connect to the slave trade. So when you hear about the slave trade, it's not like the Igbo have the untouchable. It's not like they're not really they're slaves. They're just the people that run to the god during the slave trade. So
okay, like that's what I was gonna ask you, like the caste system, because like in Senegambia, there's caste system. Like if somebody's ancestors will, if they would say this person's got slave blood in them, so therefore they are not of your class. Like there's different classes. You can't marry like a pure blood because they said slave that's like tainted. The slave have to marry in their slave class, or the iron makers have to marry the iron makers, stuff like that. Do they have that in Nigeria too?
Yeah, I
Because
think
to me, that's like
I
toxic.
will
But
give you a little bit the OT. I think Mike will explain more better. I've never heard about that in the Yoruba side, but in the Igbo side is there. But why is there is you have to understand they believe in their gods there. So those they're not really slaves, really, but they were trading heavily on slaves in that territory because they were shipping them to Bonny Island, to Gulf of Guinea and everything. I think those people that run to the gods during the slave time, so these are the children of God, they are not touchable. That become untouchable, you understand? It's not like they real slave, but because they run to the god of Yola, whatever god they serve over there, so they don't really touch it. So they think if you marry one of them, these are the children of God, you start having battle. You start kind of like crossing the line towards the gods. So you will not be prosper, you will not be rich, you have problem. So this will say have problem in that territory. You understand? But the ground of where the slave trade was taking place really, which is Port Harcourt area, they don't have those things there. All these Bonny Island people, these are all slaves that they could not sell out to the overseas. They all remain in the Bonny Island there. So part of Port Harcourt there. You understand me? So when you just start, oh, I'm from Port Harcourt, some of them in those territory, majority of them came from the Igbo land. You understand me? So the Igbos were really dealing on slaves heavily. It's not about anything. That's what they have. They have them in America and everywhere. You understand? I think the Yoruba slave didn't really happen apart from the Oyo Empire when they were fighting the Daomi. I think that was where slave business really happened. You understand me? I catch you, you catch me, I sold you off. So the Igbos still have what called a caste system there, but they would deny it. But you meet some of the Igbos that came from those territories and said, and these are the ones that are really in Lagos. You understand me? So if you don't,
you know what? Most people that are tribalists, they would deny. They
would deny it. So if you marry somebody, some of these people that really that they call the lower class but they're the real Igbo billionaires. Let's just be honest. You understand me? So some of them are in Lagos or some of this big city, Yoruba land, they are from those type of classes, but you will not know. And sometimes we tend to marry some of these Igbo girls that came from this class because that is not our business. We don't care about your class as long as you're beautiful.
So for example, do they take into consideration? Because I've seen like this Senegalese, Senegambia, where they believe in this, right? This class system. If you're from a slave class, they're not gonna marry you, but they marry like Black American. They don't. So like apparently their class doesn't count. Is it the same way in Nigeria too?
Let me just tell you the truth, Afro-Diamond. Black Americans are being classified with the sort of with the white people. I think they are far more even lower than the white people self in terms of marriages. You understand me? That's just the truth, because if you bring Black Americans to Nigeria and say you want to marry, they will ask you, first of all, they'll be curious, but they will just ask, who is he? Where is he from? You understand? Even the slaves, what called the touchable Nigeria, even have their territory where they're coming from and their culture. So if you marry to Black America, they will definitely understand this person, what is his culture, because they could see is dancing. If you really come to marriage in Nigeria, that's where you really see cultural involvement in a lot of things. You understand me? So if I marry somebody for Gambia, sure, you will bring his own people, and you easily see the Gambia culture towards those things. So it doesn't really matter if you love somebody. I think you have right to marry that person. You understand me?
Right. No, I mean, under normal circumstances, sure. And Kidola, those same people here in America or wherever, they complain about racism, but they would never acknowledge tribalism.
Tariq Hussein is playing the tribe right now, so there's tribalism also inside Black America also. You understand me? So if you will check inside deep into American type of way of life, you will see that guys from I was telling Nakmizi, because he was trying to hit always in Africa. I said, Nakmizi, sorry to say, but I don't know, you from the South, I think so. He said from North Carolina, but you just take a refuge in the northern part, which is New York, you understand? And you don't even eat the food of your ancestors. Because I told him, look, I've been to the deep south. I've been to North Carolina, I've been to Mississippi. What they call it? They say I should stay to it. I said, I understand. You eat cornbread, and that cornbread, I was trying to explain. Cornbread look almost like a cake. It's very, very sweet. You understand me? I said, you people eat raccoon. You people don't buy wine for the shop. I stay in the area whereby they people even making their own wine. I said, way back, people don't even have toilets inside the house.
Raccoon is bushmeat.
Yeah, I understand. I've tasted it there. You understand me?
Oh, you ate raccoon up there?
Yeah, their food, their raccoon, their cornbread with green peas and all kind of stuff. No, I respect them a lot. So you can see, even United States, depends where you're coming from. They also have their little tribes, and New York and all those things always exist. But it's the understanding, how to manage these things, that you don't allow this tribe to overtake you, to know that you were human beings. That's what I said. Even in Nigeria, the Yoruba people are far more advanced in terms of acceptance. Even no matter where you're coming from, they will judge you as a human being, not as actually what the tribe that you're coming from. You understand me? But with the Igbos, they will, I bet you, if you don't take, they will not even like you. You understand me? So if you're a girl that want to marry there, they don't have love for you. Depends the area. So just tell the guy straight, man, you have to come out marry from home. That's why most of them, when they marry their wife in the city, they don't take them back home. You understand me?
Yeah.
Compared to the Yoruba man.
Let's bring in Mike.
Let Mike. Mike can explain more to the side of the story.
Let's bring in Mike. Mike, are you there, Mike?
Yeah.
Mike, welcome to the Afridamus Report. Mike, what do you wanna do you think tribalism, I'm talking the toxic kind, is keeping African nations weaker?
Okay. Before I talk on that, let me address this. The animosity between the Igbo people and Yoruba people today has absolutely nothing to do with tribalism.
It is
Huh?
It is tribalism.
Hold on. It's if you go into when you see Igbo and Yorubas going on, if you go ask them why do you have issue with the Yorubas or how do you have issue, they will tell you that is what happened to them during the Civil War. It's
I've heard that part too. I've watched.
It's simply Biafran war event that they're fighting over. It's not because their tribe is different. Because if there's going to be, because first of all, the Yoruba land and Igbo land are far apart, so they don't even have much contact as far as territory wise. It's a Biafran war politics, because what happened, that war was very brutal. A lot of people lost their family. Like, it was very brutal, and the people
but again,
I'm just telling you that if you go to where Igbo and Yorubas are fighting, they will start talking about the war, the event of the war. So it was the Biafran war. So,
I get that, but if you, like, I've followed a lot of these conversations. Yes, they would bring that up, but the emphasis is on tribe.
No, it's on the emphasis on the event of the war. When you see me and an Igbo person going at it, obviously me and Igbo people go at it on the internet every time.
Then they have issue with like Northerners like that.
No. The issue they have, they believe that they're both from the south, so they believe that the Yoruba betrayed them. That's why they lost the war. So the bitterness, that's where they have they saw themselves as they fighting war with the North. So you're not going to blame your opponent for defeating you. But their bitterness is that the Yorubas caused them to lose the war.
But before the war, they were not marrying,
No, there was no. I'm not talking about the tribalism exists. That's different case. But I'm talking about the fight between them that everybody complain about. Because if you go around Igbos and Yoruba, you see a lot of the argument, and people, like someone said in college, you saw Igbos and Yorubas going at it.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to explain. The tribalism it's among everybody, but the particular fighting you see between Igbo and Yoruba, as far as the argument, is not tribalism. They're not fighting because they're different tribes. It's the Biafran war politics that they're fighting over. It's not big. They're not saying, "Oh, you're Yoruba, you're different from me. I don't like you." Oh, they start fighting. No, that's not the reason.
But I've heard people say people didn't vote for such and such person, Peter Obi, because he's not Yoruba, or along those lines.
But that's not fighting. That's politics, and the tribalism
that's
exists. No, no.
Mike,
Africanus, I think
Mike,
you're thinking I'm
Mike.
disagreeing with you. Oh, go ahead, go
No,
ahead.
Mike, what I'm saying, in Africa,
Yeah, I'm
for
going there. I'm
example,
going there.
in
I'm going there.
Africa, right, you would see everything is calm. But when it comes to election time, it turns into tribal politics. In even Kenya, that
Yeah, I'm going to address the tribal thing. The tribalism exists. I'm not saying it doesn't, but I'm just telling you that the fighting. I'm not talking about the tribalism. They are not fighting. The tribalism is a different issue. It's a different discussion. But the argument that people see among the fighting, like coming, like the animosity, it has to do with the Biafran war. But now the tribalism is a different story. They're not fighting. The Igbo and Yoruba are not fighting over their different tribes. They are fighting over the Biafran War event. But now let me address the tribal part of discussion. The discussion. I posed a question to you, Afridamus, on the comment section. That what's the difference between patriotism and tribalism? Let me see how you answer that first.
What is the difference? Well, a patriot, you're patriotic to the nation state.
Okay,
To
perfect.
the nation state, not just to your tribe. Yes, you understand your identity, but now it's a bigger nation state. It's no longer like, Yoruba land or Soninke land, whatever. It entails everyone in that nation.
Would you? Okay. Okay, but tribalism, you're loyal to your ethnic group, right?
To your ethnic group,
and then
you don't see any ideas beyond your tribe.
Is that what tribalism is? So
Yes.
okay, so are you saying a patriot, someone that's patriotic to his country as well? You saying he doesn't see any idea beyond his country?
Well, first of all, if you look at, we're talking about what makes the nations stronger or weaker. So for these nations to be nations, it's a different groups of people that came together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But now,
so now that would mean, you gotta see beyond just the tribe you came from. Just for example, if somebody has the idea, who's the great leader, the guy got what it takes.
I think I get your
For
point.
example,
I
some
think I get
people
your point.
they would hire people. They hire people who are less competent, based solely on tribe.
I think I get your point. I get your point, but I'm going somewhere with you. So now, would you agree with me that before these African countries, most of them were created like in the 60s, right? Right? The Europeans. Hold on. I'm going somewhere, but let's not make it complicated. What I'm trying to say is that before these countries were created, these people were calling tribes today. They were a nation. They were nations on their own, right? They were like nations with their system, their governance system. They were a nation, just like
some of them.
I would say most of them. Okay, let's use Nigeria. Let's focus on Nigeria, for example, right? These people, you say tribe, but before this creation of Nigeria, they were just a nation. The same way you have France, the same way you have Italy, German. So they were like nation. Like in Europe, for example, a German is a German. German is an ethnic group, but we'll call them a country because it's just a mono-ethnic group. But they didn't have that situation where somebody came from another continent and decided to draw a line where you make Germany, France, Spain, Portugal one country, right? And then start telling them that, oh, your nation is this new territory. The rest of you are just tribes. And they would look at you like, wow, we were Germans. We had our German chancellors. We had the Spain. We say we have our system. But now we just find ourselves in this new country. So now if they begin to say, wow, it's going to take though that new country, it may take a while before they come to this grasp that, okay, this is now the new identity. I'm no longer just Spanish. I'm now my nation is no longer Spain. My nation is just new territory we have to share with others. So basically what we have in Africa is just people still see their nations, old nation, as their true nation. But now they have this new country where their nations within a country, within their nations put together to form a country. So that's what we see in Africa.
But
now,
Mike,
say that
I don't mean to cut you off, but you forgot that part. We had to fight, right? We fought among each other, so the best prevails. So in Nigeria, was it the same? Did you guys fight so we can establish who kind of like who ruled the country? So I don't know. I didn't get that part
Every
of
country,
Nigeria.
hold on, start the first part because I had a phone call that came in, so I missed the first sentence you make.
I
So
was
that way I
just
understand.
asking, when you talk about everybody had their own section before the European came, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where the tribes in Nigeria were they involved in infighting amongst tribes and kind of determine who controls the nation?
Within the tribe, right?
Yeah, yes.
But that wouldn't be called tribe. That would be more of human conflicts, which
Yeah.
exist like
So I'm talking about this conflict. Yeah,
Tribalism is
but it
human
has nothing to do
conflicts.
with.
No.
What are they usually at war with? Usually over a
No.
land. Wait, hold on now.
Did the Igbo and the Yoruba and the Hausa, did they ever fight back then?
If there's a war, it'll be more like nation fighting war, kind of like Ukraine is fighting Russia or Spain and England going to war. That has nothing to do with tribalism. But
I think the Yoruba
question,
fought.
hold on.
I think
The
the
question
Yoruba
will be,
fought the
give me a
Hausas.
second. Give me a second. The question will be, what was the fighting about? Was it over territory? The wars in the back in
over any issue, just to establish who can control the nation.
No. Well, every war is not always over differences in tribes. War is about money, resources, and
Mike, there's
territory.
still
That's what-
differences. The person
Okay,
that thinks they are more superior,
not necessary. I don't think human being will go risk his life going to war because he think he's superior to another person.
Are you kidding me?
But Mike, in
Are
West
you
Africa,
say you go wait, right for that much,
Okay,
you know
go
what
ahead,
war is?
go ahead.
You go to a battlefield to go risk your life dying because you think you're superior to somebody else?
Of course, just because you're scared
lie.
doesn't mean other people are scared.
Every
But
war in this world,
there's been wars, plenty of wars that are fought over that. Who is more superior?
This is, let me tell you. This is the politics of war. When nations want to go to war, when they want to motivate their people or recruit their people, they will use religion and ethnicity to back it. But really what they're fighting over is something different. It's about money. Every war, even till today, even United States, when they want to go to war with another country, they're not going to tell you go there to take the oil. They will tell you we're fighting for freedom or something.
I don't think you get my question. What I'm asking, it's not like I'm trying to bait you or anything. I'm just trying to understand your history. Like now, Igbo live. Let's say Igbo live on the east side and the Yoruba live on the west side. You have the Hausas and the other. How did they come about? How did they even like agree? Okay, the Igbos are here, the Yorubas are here. We all agree that we are neighbor. That's what I'm trying to ask you. How did the formation came about?
They had their borders. They all had their border, just like
Who
Europe.
establishes that through peace, talk, negotiation? That's what I'm asking you. Like for my country, I'm telling you. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. I come from the majority, right? In my country, I come from the majority. We are the ruler of that nation, of that country, of that land. Anybody else that came across us, we kind of let them know this is our land, but we can share with you. So you can have your little section over here, but we were the one who establishes that.
Well, your case is different because you were
That's what I'm asking you about yours.
Just let me explain it then. Give me a chance.
Okay.
The way you describe yours is you had one ethnic group, one group of people that had the land, and then they accommodated other people within your land. That's what you're saying. But our case is different. Every ethnic group has their territory. They had their land. You understand? They were a nation, a territory, geographical space. So they were independent. They had their borders and everything. So everyone had their territory. We were a nation. We had the traditional rulers, governing system. Everyone.
Yeah, but he's asking, did they fight? Was there
There's nothing. Look, there's nothing like that at all. You have to understand.
Nothing like that. Yeah, we can. Maybe we've been existing for hundreds and thousands of years. So how we started from the beginning?
Was not like that.
Hold on. So how it came about from the beginning, we have to go thousands of years to go find out how these nations are started. But we do have certain history where we say, okay, the Yorubas always believe that everyone started from Ile-Ife and expanded, and we have those kind of history and established territory. We got those kind of history. But to modern day reality, we know that these ethnic nations have their geographical space, their governing system, and everything.
Mike, are you allowed to marry an Igbo woman?
Usually, yeah, you're allowed. The issue with where people have skepticism over marrying someone from an ethnic group usually has to do with socialization, where family, like for example, a mother usually want the son to marry a girl she can talk to, she can communicate with, and understand her, where they can speak the
That's
same language to her.
tribalism. That's
So
tribalism.
it's not tribalism.
Yes,
It's
it is.
global phenomena. It's a phenomena.
Mike,
Hold on now.
Mike,
Hold on.
that's
It's
tribalism.
not. Africa. Oh yeah, it's tribalism. We can call it
Yeah.
tribalism. Now let
That's
me.
not.
Africa, is there a difference between? Oh yeah, you know what? I took it back. It's tribalism. Now what I want to ask you is this. Africa, hold on. I'm trying to get some cool understanding here. What I want to ask you is there a difference between tribalism and bigotry?
Yes, because
What's the difference?
tribalism, for example, there's nothing wrong with interacting with, people from your tribe, positive vibe, But the moment you guys start feeling like you're more superior than others, and like you are in a nation, but you only want the people from your tribe, for you guys to intermarry with, for
Okay, cool.
whatever reason, whether it's about, the mom is gonna say it's because I want to talk to somebody from my tribe. That's still tribalism.
Okay, cool.
Afadamus. Can I ask a question so you can continue with your conversation?
Okay, go ahead.
So I can't understand your explanation, right? So this is just a follow-up question, so you can think about it. So how did whatever happened in Nigeria back then, right? How did the other guys knew that this guy were weaker, so they can put him into slavery? How did that happen? How did that mindset came about? Like, these guys are weak, we can go and just take them. How did that happen? If you guys never fought and nothing never happened, you guys live in peace and everybody got their border, which was the understanding. How did the Oyo, that like whatever, decided that we're gonna take these people into slavery? How did that happen?
Well, like Kidola was explaining, the way the slave situation happened varies from different tribes. The way it happened in Igbo land is different from the way it happened in Yoruba land. From I can speak about my Yoruba land. The way slavery was happening was two forms. One, there were some the one that the empire itself carried out was more like prisoners, like people. Let's say we have something called Tubu, which is a jail system.
How
Your
did they
empire.
get those prisoners?
That's what I'm trying to explain to you, though. Relax. Prisoners is not far different from the prison system you have today, where people that commit murder, people that commit atrocity, maybe crimes, and they were put in prisons, and also war criminals, they're put in prison. So now what happened with the Oyo Empire is kind of similar to kind of like what Europeans also did, where they send their prisoners to Australia, where the Europeans came and they were looking for offering money for humans and things. And then the emperors felt like, wow, all these prisoners, it's kind of like there's so many of them. So they just get, Europeans want them. So they just give them out to the Europeans. Like, okay, you can take these people, at least that's less liability for the empire. So
Mike,
the Oyo Empire were trading.
Mike, are you telling us they did not invade each other and conquer each other and sell people into slavery? Is that what you were telling us here?
From my side?
Yes.
No, we were not doing that.
So they were basically what you're telling me, they were evenly strong and evenly weak. So nobody was
no. I'm telling you, and the other side of slavery were also, the other part of slavery were some organized criminals. Kind of like you had, hold on now. Let me.
But Mike, that was too many slaves. You want to tell me that all those people were criminals?
Afridamus, human trafficking is going on in Africa today.
I know.
Right? Okay, thank you. So 100 years from now, what they're going to tell you is, do you know most of the human traffickers are coming from Kidola, coming from where Kidola come from, like Bini? I mean, within Nigeria.
But you know, like now it's illegal to do it.
It is illegal, but it's still happening. Hold on.
Back in those days, right? There's an understanding that it was illegal.
I know what you're saying. I agree.
I'm trying to
add something to it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to add something to it. So many human trafficking going on. Do you know 100 years from now, somebody's going to write a book and say the Benin Kingdom were selling humans and trafficking, but it really was just some organized criminals doing it. So
no.
I'm
Mike,
telling you about the human trafficking.
No, Mike.
Is that not what's going on right now? Are you saying it's the kingdom that's doing the human trafficking?
No, they would say some criminals, like people who smuggle other humans. It's not organized like the Benin Kingdom used to do it. This is not on the government.
Afridamus, no, that's not true. No,
You
no,
can't
every
accuse the
African case.
government. Benin Kingdom is the place. This
The
is
Benin Kingdom or your empire were not selling their own citizens. Like saying we just grab you, we put you. No. This is like organized empire. They were not grabbing their own citizens and selling them.
I
It's
get
not
that,
possible.
but they were fighting with people, and
No.
they got prisoners of wars.
That's what I'm saying. Like in the events where they were war was going on somewhere and capture prisoners of war, of course they're gonna put them in prison. They're not gonna put them among the people. So when Europeans come and say, "Hey, we want human being slaves or whatever for this amount of money, whatever," they're gonna sell the prisoners. What are they gonna keep them for? Even the British were getting rid, and the Portuguese were getting rid of their prisoners, pushing them to South America to go get away from their society because they don't want to keep them. Even United States today, all those millions of people you got in prison, if they have a way to ship them somewhere, they will ship them somewhere because that would save the government money.
So the blacks,
that's another thing you have to understand.
So the blacks were criminals back then.
No, human beings society always have criminals. They were prison system. Society always have criminals. You know what they used to do?
But you are denying
do you know
that
what they used to do
never.
to criminals at one point? Do you know what some tribes used to do to criminals? They just banished them. They sent them into exile.
I get that, but
exactly.
But also they did also bigger kingdoms did also attack smaller, weaker kingdoms, smaller tribes, and sold them into slavery. That did happen.
That's what Europeans wrote, but I don't know. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. I don't know.
No, but it is true, Mike. We know.
Well, maybe it's true. Well, maybe it's true. I don't know, but
because
I know from my own full understanding,
the Europeans. Hold on, the Europeans did not march in and get these people. Somebody handed them over.
And from my own,
so where did they get these people from?
I just explained to you.
Did they just put seeds on the ground and they just germinated? They got these people from somewhere.
Afridamus, as far as this slave trade thing, I did from my own digging. Europeans give their own accounts. The African empires give their own accounts. I'm giving you my own, not all African, but my own side of Africa where I've done my digging on their own accounts. And their own account is simply the empire, as far as the governance, the trade that they did was sold criminals and people they didn't want, and the people they didn't want, meaning people they want to banish from their society. They gave them to the white people. And then on the other trade that was also going on within the empire were some organized groups that were like organized crimes, where some group of people that went on formed some kind of business deal with white people and were kidnapping people.
They even had popular Yoruba slave traders,
businessmen. Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
They had popular ones,
Exactly, so, and were they tied to the government? Were they tied to the empire? Were they tied to the government?
Lagos, the port of
in Badagry. That's in Badagry.
Yeah, that was
But was it the Kingdom of Lagos that was doing it? No, it was not. Now let me.
Yes, it was taking place. So
no, it was not the kingdom. No, it was not the kingdom.
Then, for example, then how can we can't say? Okay, we can't say then in Ghana, for example, we can't say the Ashantis and the Fantis, were the ones selling the slaves then.
Well, the Ghanaians can explain their own history. I don't know Ghanaians' history, but I can only tell you about my own.
Like, you don't have to be Nigerian to know this history. This is out in the open.
The only account of Ghanaian history that I get is the European account. And unfortunately, most of us, we tend to read the European account of everybody's other Africans' history, and we go by it. But before I can give you my own account of Ghanaian history, I have to go sit down with the Ghanaian kingdoms and say, hey, what happened in your kingdom?
So there was no tribalism.
There's tribalism, even to today. Now, Afridamus, that's what I'm asking. I'm trying to get into this unpacking. I'm trying to unpack this tribalism that you're trying to talk. Now, Afridamus, the question I'm asking you is this: is there a difference between what a person? What is the tribalism and what is bigotry? To me, that's why I ask you this question. I was different between patriotism and tribalism. To me, my definition of tribalism is somebody that's just loyal to each tribe, that's put each tribe before another tribe. And to me, I don't see anything wrong with that. The only thing I see that's wrong, hold on. Let me get across that you understand me. The only thing I see that's wrong is when it start coming to bigotry. That's when you are wrong. When you say, I'm Soninke, and I'm put the interest of my Soninke empire above the interest of another empire or another group of people. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you're saying I'm Soninke and I hate the Fulanis, I hate everybody else, then you're not being tribalist. You're being a bigot.
Yeah, but Mike,
if you're saying the same thing, hold on, let me say this. The same thing if you're saying I'm a nationalist, I'm an American first. I put the interest of America above the interest of Mexico, Canada, and other countries. You being a nationalist, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're saying I'm an American first, but I hate Mexicans, I hate Canadians, I hate everybody else, then you're not being a nationalist, you're just being a bigot. That's bigotry. That's not nationalism.
Most people don't talk like that.
That's what I'm trying to say. We have to be able.
What I'm saying is, again, people that think this way, for example, and believe in it, they're not just gonna come out and say, "Oh, I hate X, Y, and Z." No,
they exist. I know they exist, but
but it's all in the practice. For example, we've given the examples of, for example, we're saying we're nation state. Some tribe, they believe they are more superior than others, like they're beneath them.
Every human being. Hold on. Alfredamos, are you telling me you don't think Soninkes are more superior than everybody else?
No.
Come on, man. It's human nature. Alfredamos, what I'm trying to tell you is this. But when we find someone that's a bigot, let's not call him a tribalist.
Superior in what?
No, every human being believes
what are you superior in?
Well, whatever it is,
I just know, like, I'm this tribe. I don't make any comparison.
Okay.
Like, I don't make comparison, of like, I don't compare myself to
I agree with you.
Like, for example, you're Yoruba.
But are you more loyal to Soninke than the next tribe?
Like, what do you mean?
Are you more loyal? Do you put the interest of Soninke land, Soninke empire above the interest of
there's the
other
empire?
tribe?
The empire doesn't exist. We are in a nation. So I look
I
look at what is best. What is
I agree with you. You are within the nation.
Yeah, I'm within the nation.
You are within the nation. Let's say within that nation, Gambia, you have many ethnic groups, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they say, okay, we have this stadium or we have this infrastructure, we want to put it within only one. We can only put it in one place right now. The resources is only available for one location, and that's going to create thousands of jobs for the locals there. And they asked Alfredamos, where would you want that thing to be built? In Soninke land or in the next tribe's land? Where would you pick?
I will.
Come on, don't lie, Soninke.
No. Here's the thing. That's why you're thinking along tribal lines. That's why you're convinced. Mike, I'm literally telling you. You asked me a question. That's not how I operate. If they ask me where to build this, like, let's say a factory right now in the Gambia, I would build it like, in the Combo area where, like, it's so many people there, they need jobs, right? Or I'll move it in the center. We in that country, because Mike, I'm from a mixed society.
Yeah.
Even though, like, I'm from a mixed society.
But that's you, though, man. Okay, that's the dynamic of Gambia. But in the dynamic of Nigeria, hold on. In the dynamic of, let me speak about Nigeria. In Nigeria, right now,
I don't think along the lines of saying, yes, I get it, I'm this tribe, but that's not how I view the world. That's not how I view Gambia. Okay. I view Gambians as a nation.
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. But Alfredamos, why is it that we only want to hold Africans, blacks, to this standard of, you're not put the interest of the race above, which, if it comes to that, like, maybe something has to do with the race and doesn't in general, yeah, of course you do that. But when it comes to, like, just in general, what interests people first? Some people will say, why you worry about your ethnic group? Why is it that we're only holding blacks to this standard? Have you ever seen where a Chinese man or Japanese man will tell you that, oh no, the interest of the Asian continent, is my primary prerogative than the interest of Japan? A Japanese man is more interested in Japan being the freaking, greatest place in the world. It's not interested. It's not saying, oh, if I want something for Japan, I also want it for China and Korea. They're not. Europeans are not saying that. The British are not saying, oh, I'm putting interest.
What are we saying here? What are we saying here?
England pulled out of the EU. Why? Because of the interest of England.
Yeah.
They're not saying, oh, I'm going to put the interest of the European continent.
Again, when you say Chinese and Japanese, you do realize those groups hate each other, right?
You said again?
They hate each other.
So why are we not calling them tribalists? Why is it that it's only Africa that we come online to talk about?
Because Mike, I am not a Chinese or Japanese. I'm not Asian, right? This channel is mostly focused on Africans, Black people. So
I agree.
let me throw this back at you. Why is it that us as Blacks, Africans, whenever we bringing out the things that are sensitive and uncomfortable topics to talk about, we like to deflect and say, "Oh, how come those people?"
No, I'm not deflecting here. I'm not deflecting.
Wait. Chinese, Japanese, Asian, their dynamics is not the same as what we have where we come from.
It's the same.
It's not the same thing.
How is it not the same?
It's not. Chinese and Japanese are not,
different ethnic group, different ethnic nationalities.
Chinese and Japanese are not the same people. They don't
even the same race.
Their language is not even the same, sir.
Is the African people language the same? Is my language the same as Soninke?
Mike, it's not the same, but the tribalism, right? The tribalism, we are all from tribes. If you look across Africa,
there is no difference between.
If you look across Africa, let's just be real. Look at, I've shown different videos here. I've even shown video from South Africa. When you look across Africa, tribes operate almost similarly. Almost.
It's the same thing in Asia. It's the same thing in Europe.
Mike,
they operate almost similarly.
Mike, I am not Asian.
But they're different.
You're deflecting. I am not Asian. I can guarantee you, we are nothing like the Chinese.
The main point I'm trying to make is this: in all human society, irrespective of race, in this planet that we live in,
we are talking about Mike.
The dynamic is the same.
Mike,
in all human.
Mike,
no, African, you can't say you're not talking about.
We're talking about. Can you compare Japan, the country of Japan, their unity? They have a Japanese understanding of nationality, right? Their patriotism. Can you compare that to any African country, sir? Most Africans don't even understand what nation state is about, sir.
Afridamos. Japan is a mono-ethnic nation. The African
is homogeneous.
Afridamos, allow me.
No, you're saying it's homogeneous, like they are
homogeneous, exactly. Homogeneous.
Well, Somalis do claim they are homogeneous too, but we see what's going on there, right?
Well, it's not. You can't call it tribalism. It's more of internal. That's not tribalism. That's going on in Somalia.
Different clans fighting. That's
if they're different ethnic groups.
Look, clan. Give me a second. The organization, a clan is the bigger group, and the tribe is the subgroup of clan.
Give me a second. Give me a second.
It's pretty much the same thing.
Okay. Give me a second. In Europe, the very first time they're trying to pull a bunch of European ethnic group or European ethnic nations together to form a country like they did in Africa was the whole Yugoslavia. In fact, they tried the whole Soviet Union, but they let trickle to the whole Yugoslavia. About six or so different ethnic groups.
Mike, let's not run away.
They didn't last the test of time. Yugoslavia today has broken up to six. They went back to their old ethnic national nations. They broke to 6 different countries today. But Africans, we are trying. We are trying our best. We are still trying, keeping ourselves together. Europeans they could not even, like the Serbia, the Croatian, they could not even bear it for the decade that they are all speaking different language, they're different ethnic group, and they have to be one country. They couldn't bear it for too long. They went back to their old
So what's your point, Mike?
The point I'm making, you're telling me that Japan, oh look, if you make Japan and
I didn't
Vietnam,
bring Japan up. You did.
no, you're trying to tell me that they're different. They think different from us. They don't think any
Yes.
different from us.
Mike, look at
They
their
don't.
nation. Look at their nation and look at our nations.
Because
Sir.
they are homogeneous countries. That's what I'm telling you.
Japan literally have no mineral resources in their ground, right? You compare them to any African country. Literally, I mean,
But we're not talking about economic now.
I don't know. Wait, Mike. Economic progress. Hold on.
But we're talking about tribalism.
Hold on. Economic progress comes from people uniting.
Exactly. But Japan didn't have to deal with a they didn't have to deal with that issue of, oh, we're a bunch of ethnic groups put together now. How do we unite? They didn't have to deal with that.
Mike,
they just want
Mike, again, I'm not gonna talk about Japan since none of us on here are Japanese. You know, I get it. You know, they're doing their thing. I just want us to focus on the tribalism. Is it the African tribalism? Macron, call back in. Macron, I don't know what happened to your phone.
Let me respond to that.
Is that Macron dude trying to troll or something, man? You call himself Macron, man?
Afrodamos, the truth of the matter is, the tribalism you're seeing, the white people, they allow the Africans to finish the business of conquering each other. You understand? The Oyo Empire have an extension of some Yoruba people in the Benin Republic called the Cotonou people. So the Oyo was going towards to attack the Ashanti because the Ashanti were dealing with other tribes. So the European came in.
Dad, stop interrupting, Dad.
The Yoruba the white people came in and cut that business. So the Daomi, if you check what they call Makoko today, is people from all this area that form that water area.
The Makoko.
Yes,
okay.
That is the war. That was the war that was going towards what's called present day today Ghana. The Oyo people were going towards Ghana to fight the Ashanti there. You understand me? Because the Ga people have some connection with the Oyo people. Then the Dahomey people was the one disturbing their way. So that's why the war took too long. So the Oyo could not go and finish the battle. If they have that defeat the Ashanti, I believe the Oyo would have just conquered the whole of that area. But the problem is the Dahomey disturbed them a lot. So the war, so during that fight of that war, that's how the white people came in. So not only the Oyo, the Benin Empire was also going towards Ghana. You understand me? So it was like a battle.
So Ghana wouldn't have existed.
They wanted to go and fight the Ashanti because the Ashanti was the bigger tribe in Ghana, and fighting the Ashanti would make them dominate those areas. But the Benin people also couldn't get there. That's just the truth.
So, yeah, I'm gonna come up with some revelations, right? Trust me on that, right? I want you to do a show on it. Most of the tribe, I'm not gonna say the names, they got their history rewritten for Africans. All these Ashanti tribe that they fought hard in 150 years, I got revelation for you. There was some fake news in that.
Really?
If you look at the pattern, the pattern doesn't add up. So we're gonna have to talk about it.
Let me back up. Okay, let's bring in Macron. Macron has been waiting for a while. Macron, unmute yourself. Macron, are you there?
Okay, Macron doesn't want to talk. Afrodamus, look into
Macron,
it.
we can hear you. So, sorry, I don't know. So St. James, you're saying that is fake news?
Some of it is being watered down. Is like propping certain tribes on top of other tribes, and I'm gonna give you the name of places where the toughest battle took place in West Africa. It wasn't in Ghana. I will give you that information. So this is based on my research because I have been listening a lot and I have been checking certain patterns about people who call themselves fighters. And when you look at certain pattern, it doesn't add up. It's like, how did these people come from? Those great people, and today they are behaving in such ways. It's not possible, you know. So we can even go back and find like it's like a plant. When you see a plant, you know where that plant come from, right? But for those, you cannot make the connection. You know, it's just like a book, and then you go to a different book and you try to connect the dot and you don't see the connection. It's just like some people sitting up west talking about we fought these people for 150 years. And there is no proof to that. It's just talk.
But the white people wrote it too.
No. Alpha Damas is just because they were at the border. When they left, because of the treaty they signed with these people, they were trying to prop these people against others. So they told them these guys are the toughest that we ever face. That wasn't true. That wasn't true.
Okay.
Can I say something? That wasn't true.
Let's allow Macron one more time. Send him, then we'll bring him. Go ahead, Macron. Macron, unmute yourself. Going once, going twice. Macron, are you there? Sorry, Macron, we can't hear you. You need to. You might want to get back to Niger and.
I told you he's a troll, man.
Yeah, go back to Niger and talk to them about letting you, charge your phone. Dirt, go ahead, Dirt.
It is Africa, but you. Anyways, never mind. Okay, just to respond to a couple of points. The Japanese had a close relationship with Europeans for a long time, so they had a greater awareness of race as well. One of the reasons for justifying
Africans did too, sir.
Yes, no problem. I'm saying one of the reasons for the Japanese to justify the reason for going into World War II was because they said they wanted to unify the Asian region, because the Asian region is under a stronger Japanese administration. Obviously, individuals committed war crimes and they behave badly. Of course, they are different tribes, but they had a sense of race as well. So the Japanese decided, without Japanese rule, these Asian tribes can never stand up to the Europeans. So we must take over and unify all this and take over China and take over Manchuria and invite these Asians. But in that side, when human beings have power over another, they tend to commit some crimes and all that stuff. So that's what we say. So in answer to Mike and all that stuff, there was a sense of race as well. Even if they were different ethnicities, they had a sense of race and all that kind of stuff. So that's that answer to that. In response to Kidola, if you look at the trajectory and the results of what is occurring now, it seems like more of the westerly kind of tribes that were traveling in Africa seem to be more dominant today. When you look all the way from Senegambia to Ivory Coast, you hear names of Toure and all that kind of stuff, names of Mende people dominating as well. That means because they had superior weapons and superior war tactics enough to actually defeat. That while the Oyo people are still stuck in Nigeria, you have tribes that move all the way from Western Africa all the way to Nigeria. Some Fulanis.
But Nigeria is in West Africa, sir.
Say that again?
Nigeria is in West Africa, don't forget, sir.
Nigeria is in West Africa, but I'm saying the types of West Africa, because Kidola was wanting to move things westerly, but the reality on the ground shows is the Western Sahelian Africans that have been the most dominant from Ivory Coast, Senegambia, all the way. So I'm sorry,
brother.
Kidola.
No. Let me tell you one thing. Have you ever heard about the Yoruba war? So hold on, because you want to bring about Osman Dafodo now. You talk about the Fulani.
No, it's not about Osman Dafodo. It's the trajectory of technology.
Hold on. Before forming this country called Nigeria, the Yorubas have fought the so-called Fulanis, they call it the Fulani Hausa, called the Osman Dafodo. They fought for very long time, for years. You tell me. Then during that war, they settled themselves. That's where the Yoruba, the Oyo people now have their direction now towards.
Kidola, are you there?
Tell me, they were not going to, the Yorubas, the Ilele people were never going towards the north to fight a war, but they wanted to bring in that Ghana territory because they already have. The Yoruba already had ally already.
How are you going to win against Ghana when a stronger nation with more advanced military tactics was coming in from the
which stronger nation?
The Mande tribes, the Sahelian tribes.
Where were the Mande tribes? Where
they
they
came all the way to Ivory Coast. They came from Senegambia, Sahel, Mali, all the way to Ivory Coast, and the Fulanis came all the way to that. If Europeans hadn't happened,
The only
Yorubas
people,
would have been as
the
little
only tribe in
tribe.
Nigeria that never fought a war is the Igbo tribe. The Igbo tribe
Do
never
you
fought a
know?
war.
Do you know in the history? Do you know in the history of Mali, it was written as Yorubas
Wait,
make
but
great
the
Steve.
Igbos fought in Biafra.
No, look, forget that's like modern war. The Igbo never fought no war. The Igbo they were doing all the weapons.
Do you know in the history of Mali, it's
Afridamo,
written
let's get back
the
to the
Yorubas
topic.
is where you can capture slaves. The
Yeah,
Yorubas
Dad,
make great
Dad, how
slaves
did
by
you bring
Malians.
us into this war talk? Can you
Okay,
focus on the
sorry. I just
on the
want to. I was
tribalism?
responding to a
You're
point.
over here,
Just
you know.
me.
See,
I was
this
just
is what I'm
responding to a
talking
point.
about. You're bringing tribal dust here. Guys,
Okay,
you see, you see the example. You know,
I'll
he
stop.
had to come to show
I'll stop.
Kidola that the Sahelian tribes are more superior than the Nigerian.
I was responding to a point. The case of influence.
You did say those who practice tribalism are sometimes the weakest link, right?
Right.
Why? I would like for you to go further, like based on all these patterns I'm talking about, and you will see the
Actually,
country
what they're
right before
practicing
your
is
face.
bigotry. What
You
they're
will
practicing is
see that
bigotry,
before your
not
face.
tribalism.
James, you're talking like this because your tribe dominates Burkina
No.
Faso.
This is the way it came about.
In Ghana,
This is
they
the
are
way.
Ashanti.
No.
In Ghana,
Listen, my tribe came all the way. My tribe came all the way from Ghana. You know that, right?
That's why you're talking like this. That's not the truth.
No.
The truth is,
Kidola, you know
are you
my
from
tribe
Ashanti?
came all the way from Ghana, right?
Okay, it's your tribe from the Ashanti Kingdom.
Not the Ashanti Kingdom, but they came all the way from Ghana.
Maybe
so we found a
than the Ashanti Kingdom. They
maybe
had
some of that tribe,
larger
you
space
understand
than
me?
the Ashanti Kingdom.
So you go on.
Keizo's influence. I had to bring the historical fact. Keizo gets dusty, so I have to bring historical fact. You can see it on the ground today that the most popular surnames in Africa are Sahelian and West African as well. If colonialism hadn't happened,
thank you.
The Yoruba
This is the
states and
pattern
Nigerian
I'm
states would
telling
have
you.
been smaller.
Patterns don't lie. If you believe in pattern, they don't lie. So if you don't want to believe in pattern, you want to go back and read books with lies.
And tell Al he can take that to defend himself. Tell Al he can take that to defend himself against Nigerians, because I know he always loses until I come. But never mind. Yeah, I'll stop.
Guys, hit the like button. Hit the like. Jerry Cox, Fox, you're right. Hit the like.
The question we should ask that is, where's this ethnic group today? What's their relevance?
He's gonna call in. Dad, call back, Mike.
The Nigerian ethnic group that
Mike is throwing dust at you again.
If you like your tribe, right?
Right.
And we link up, like you are Solinke and I'm Mosi, and you like your tribe and I like mine, and we create an alliance, right?
Right.
So the people who are facing us, they're gonna feel us, right? They're gonna feel us. But when you talk about African, when we're in ECOWAS, right? The people who are leading ECOWAS, you see how we don't get respect?
Right. So, okay, you know what, St. James, you're bringing a good point. So, St. James, do you think tribalism is even in present day ECOWAS, against the silent? You think there's, it's tribalism that it's at play?
Do you know, like I told you last time, I want people to hear this out. Within ECOWAS, there is two portfolios, the English and the French. The English don't even talk about the French like that. So before they talk about the French, they have to consult with someone who is a leader of the French. So sometimes it's somebody from Senegal or Ivory Coast. And that guy has to take the order from the European, which is French. So like right now, you see Bola Tinubu right now, he cannot talk about West Africa, Francophone Africa. He can't. You see what I'm saying? Because it's divided in tribal line, whether you like it or not. And then even within ECOWAS, some countries are regarded as inferiors. Some countries are regarded as superiors. They get to speak on issues and other people get to listen. This is how it is set up. So those countries that get frustrated, they want to speak up, they get sanctions because they go back. Listen, let me finish. And I trust it, like I still trust Nigeria, right? But when you listen to Nigeria sometimes, sometimes I feel like I feel like it's so sad to see what the actual president is doing. because it kind of go back to what I told you. There is a pattern that don't lie. You know, if you like as a Nigerian, if you are very strong as a people, me being from a small group, when I come behind Nigeria, I'm supposed to stand tall. I'm not supposed to come behind Nigeria and be weaker. I'm not supposed to come behind you and be young, lower. But you see, Bola is going to France. He's listening. He's trying to navigate his way so he doesn't get dirty. But at the end of the day, no. Listen, he can't even speak on Africa. As a chairman of ECOWAS, the first thing you do, I'm not saying to fight for Sahel. I'm not saying to look after us. Just to speak, he can't.
Subject, no, subject. The message is not about this. It tells you, right? The
division is too strong. It's too strong for us to even hide behind it. You have to speak up. It's so shameful. It is a shame to watch that a Nigerian president would do this. It's shameful, man.
It's not like it started now. It started during Jonathan time. You see, the French, in a way, came in and started traumatizing Jonathan. And this started not with Burkina Faso. I think it started with Ivory Coast, called Bagbo. You understand me? During that time of Bagbo, the French kind of like sweet talk, because Nigeria was always against the France. You know, and some of these Francophone, we know what was going on. But sometimes we also have problems to understand also the Francophone also sometimes. You understand? So the Francophone was always having a say. During the I understand that Sankara even was very close to Babangida, that Ito Babangida, the war in Liberia. How you looking at it? You understand me? How you looking at it? That's where when Sankara were big kid, some of it, Nigeria was involved. Nigeria was never involved. It was the French. It was an internal problem that happened because he challenged the Nigerian government at that time that you supposed to send an army to dislodge these people, that you don't want to just do it. I don't know why. He refused the Mercedes-Benz that Babangida gave to him at that time. He just refused. He was pissed. During that, see, look, Sankara was a great man. The problem that we have in some of these places, you understand, Nigeria is far from Burkina Faso. Ghana is far more closer to you people. You understand me? So what happened in Niger, the romanticism that France now introduced to Nigeria that we've never seen before, is because France also was having hands also destabilizing Nigeria also. Because they also play a card that's okay, we destabilize this big country so that you people can also be free. You understand? So France was playing double game. That's what
what I'm trying to tell you. What I'm trying to tell you is this. I'm glad you brought up Sankara's name. If this guy was alive and the same situation was happening to Nigeria, he will be the first guy to put himself in line and speak on it.
Yeah,
but
that's why.
No. Listen to me. This is leadership. You know, because he understands Nigeria got his back, and he doesn't even need Nigeria to give him a call so he can speak on it. He will speak on it. So
James, you think Nigeria was playing tribal politics? Or
just look at it. When he came, there is when he tried, I know he tried. Listen, I'm not gonna say Tinubu did it all bad, did it all wrong. No. I saw he tried to maneuver, but the how you call it, the visuals he gave to us indicated that he is now with us.
But do you think because Tinubu just came in brand new, and,
so you have to stand,
and he didn't understand it, and people were like, telling him, do this, do that.
Yeah, Ubwariha was there. See, Ubwariha was there.
You remember when you had a show, right? We had a show about the echo, right?
Right.
What Buhari understood, right? During that time, we were talking about creating the currency. Remember, under Buhari, when Macron flew to Ivory Coast and sat next to Alassane Ouattara and said, "Oh yeah, we are creating the echo." Buhari said nothing. Because Buhari understood this is over with. So
But
when
St. James, you know, Buhari usually doesn't say much. He
that's what I'm
doesn't
saying. No,
talk
no, no.
much.
But because Buhari understand it will be difficult to bring the francophone along, so that's why he left it alone. He didn't want to speak on it. But the point is, he was the chairman of ECOWAS at that time, or whatever the situation was. So when he saw that, what he could have came and said, "Listen, francophone Africans, I know you guys have your situation in there. How about individually? I want you guys to tell me who is ready, who want to come along. This is how we create a union. You can't get everybody at one time. It's not going to happen. You get the ones that are ready,
But
and we
St. James,
begin the city. Yeah,
St. James, you guys are the same, almost like as Ghana, the same tribe. Did you guys get tribal support from next
what
door?
Kilola does understand, right? In my country, my people are well connected to Nigeria more than Ghanaians. I'm sorry to break the bad news to you. We hang with Nigeria more than Ghanaians. Sorry, this is the situation.
I agree.
It's not like the Ghanaians are bad or whatever. It's like it's naturally we connect well with Nigerians.
That's true, man. Ghanaians always want to claim that they connect with Nigeria the most, but that's not true.
We connect well.
The Cameroonians, the Burkina Faso, the Benin, they are more closer to Nigerians. Ghanaians, you always just want to like your Nigerian sack, man. We Nigerian, come on, man. Then when we get to the gritty of it, it's like, God, Lord, man, you guys don't even wish us well.
God, all this tribalism against the Ghanaians. Let's bring in the Ghanaians.
I swear.
Even that Afrodamus, the tribes, right? I'm glad you're talking about tribe in Ghana, right?
I swear, Burkina Faso will defeat Ghana.
Even the Ghanaians, the kings, the chiefs in Ghana. I don't see many of them traveling to Burkina and asking what the situation is about, what's going on, what happened. I never seen her on TV. Never. I'm not talking about the president. We don't care about that. We're talking about the people.
Ghanaians are more closer to Ivorians than anybody else.
We don't see that. But as for us, right, even that situation happened in Ivory Coast, you know, we try to talk to Ghanaians about certain things, and they were like, you know what, we're gonna do what we gotta do, because they went to Nigeria, they went to Ivory Coast and got a lot of Ivorian to Ghana. At the end of the day, who betray who? Ghana started betraying the Ivorians. Blake Goudet, you remember Blake Goudet? Blake Goudet, who was the right-hand man of Bagbo, he was living in Ghana. Guess what happened? Ghana betrayed our boy and get him to the International Criminal Court. This is the pattern that I'm telling you. So when I'm talking, it's not about which book I read.
So St. James, you're saying the tribalism crosses borders?
Oh man.
But anyway, let me chime in. First of all, I would say greetings to you, Afrodamus, greetings to the panel, and greetings to the chat, right? Interesting topic.
Can you hear me? Afrodamus?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Can you mute your mic, man? Interesting topic, interesting conversation, right? So, in response to the earlier part of the conversation, you Africans, you have to understand the whole idea of a nation state shouldn't be viewed as how we view tribalism. It's not the same. A country is made up of several tribes. So you look at a country like Ghana, in the northern part of Ghana, there are certain groups that might share similarity with the southern part of Burkina Faso, right? And there have been some migration between some groups. Maybe say like the Zongo people, originally they come from various part of Africa and they've been part of Ghana for a longer time. So that's how they draw like that kind of like shared history or commonality, right? And then you look at the Akan people, there are also Akan people in Cote d'Ivoire. So like it is possible to claim Burkina Faso, Nigeria, or neighboring Togo or Cote d'Ivoire. What is different? It is possible to claim so. Even in Nigeria, northern Nigeria, the Hausa people share ethnic ties with the Nigerians from the southern part of Nigeria. They are the same people. It's just
What is your point, Zongo? What is your point?
I was just addressing like
Don't this whole Pan-African talk. Oh, we were one people before this and that. No, reality today is.
Let me come on. Let me respond. I was just addressing what Sim James said earlier, right? But now coming back to the main topic. See, I would say Afrodamus, a lot of them still think in the lens of tribalism. I would say ethnic fundamentalism, right? Nation state has changed, has evolved. It's much more bigger than tribalism.
Do you think that thinking is making the nations weaker?
Of course, man. Because the idea of nation state was invented by them. It was invented by the Europeans, and the
Right.
Europeans understand it better than them. So the effort that they need to come together to fight
It's
against.
always it's always the Europeans with these guys, always blaming people but themselves.
Does he understand what I'm talking about? I said the nation state, the nation state idea. It was created by the Europeans. So most of the African countries and the ethnic groups are still operating at the tribal lands, not at a bigger like nation state
Like they're
tribe.
not
Can you
playing
define nation state? Can you define nation state so I understand you very well?
Well, nation state is made up of several groups within a territorial boundary.
Okay, okay. That's okay. All right, cool.
It's not just only one particular tribe. So instead of different tribes being a minority or majority coming together to work to fight in the economic interests of the state, people are rather fighting for their own tribes and then ignoring other tribes or fighting the.
But Zongo, don't you think if it was their own creation, meaning that the nation state came together to actually agree on that nation state, don't you think they would have come to the terms that okay, we have this new thing. But when you have a situation where it's not like those nation states came together and all agreed that okay, let's form this new country. I mean, sorry, these ethnic groups came together and say, oh, let's create a nation state, kind of like Switzerland did and Belgium, I believe. Don't you think you're missing that part? That is a part missing that this nation state you're talking about. It's not the creation of the people themselves, and that's why they find it hard to some of them are finding it hard to accept it. Because in the case of Nigeria, most of these ethnic groups don't really accept this concept of Nigeria. But you blaming them that, oh, you have to evolve. No, they haven't sat down to actually come to the term that, okay, this new country thing, this nation state, we haven't really defined it. How we want to do it, what it's about. So don't you think you're skipping that and you just directly just pointing finger at the people like, oh, you're foolish. Why are you doing tribalism? Why are you doing?
No, I'm not saying that. Okay, if they want to practice a mini tribal state, I mean, they have to come together to do it. But I don't think the elite. I mean, the elite, when they assume power, they do understand the territorial boundaries. A lot of them even debated whether they have to redefine the territorial boundaries of these countries. But a lot of them decided, you know what, let's just maintain what was given to us by the Europeans. So you have to move. Oh, the leadership did. I mean, even in Ghana,
the people. Are you blaming the people? If you can't blame the people, is what I'm trying to tell you. You can't blame.
You can't blame the people, but the people have to understand that now the countries are not operating on tribal level. It's mostly on the
case of Nigeria. They are. We still recognize the empire as the traditional rulers. You know that, right? We still all.
Yeah, but they don't. They don't have control. The constitution.
They do give them.
Okay,
they do have huge control of their territory.
Let me give you a typical example. The constitution is preserved in the English language. So if you lack knowledge of English, it means contributing to the nation development, you are even way behind. Everything about the country is in English. A majority of the people rarely even understand the language.
Actually, in Nigeria, it's different. You have to take in our curriculum. You have to take the Yorubas, Igbo. It's part of. In fact, you have to pass that.
Mike, but your official language is English.
No.
Let's not complicate it. We know Nigeria's language is English, sir.
But within the ethnic territory, it's not the official language. I'm sorry.
Okay, let's bring in Macron finally. Macron,
I wasn't done with my point. But
okay, hold on, Macron, give Zongo a few more minutes, 1 more minute. Let him finish.
I mean, the overall point that I was trying to say is that instead of just fighting among yourself about which tribe should be the leader, why don't you guys come together to fight for the interest of the whole nation state? That way your effort is diverted towards improving the country's economy and competing at a larger scale or at an international level.
Burkina is an extension of Ghana. Ghana ain't fighting for nobody.
Man, I'm not even speaking.
Why you here trying to sweet talk us, man?
No, I'm not sweet talking, man. I'm from Ghana, but I'm not from the majority ethnic group. I'm from minority.
I'm
so
tired
I don't know
of you guys talk about Ghana, man.
So I don't know,
Are you done, Dembo?
Hey, Macron, go on.
Thank you. So, hello everybody. I hope everyone is doing well. I do want to correct one thing. One of the things you said, Aphrodamis.
Okay.
You know, Somali is a tribe. It's a tribe. Okay,
Right.
that's one thing we need to know.
Yeah,
So
tribe and clan. Are you Somali?
yes, of course, I'm Somali.
Okay, go ahead.
It's a tribe. It's no one can tell me how my culture is unless you're Somali yourself. So it's a tribe. Somali itself is a tribe, and underneath you have all these clans. But at the end of the day, they come from the same family. It's like okay, I'll give you an example. It's like the Fulani with all the and clan families they have underneath Fulani. So the bigger picture is Fulani. Underneath that, there's many types of Fulanis like Bambara and all that stuff. They're all the same though. That's exactly how our clan families work. Another thing is, I don't think there's anything wrong with tribalism. None of these guys are similar to me. None of these guys are like the same as me tribally. So it is in my interest to practice tribalism because they do the same thing. They'll tell you.
But what about like in Somalia itself, the nation state? Do you guys want to be a nation state?
I'm not from Somalia, but just to speak, because there's many countries Somalis inhabit. Like
didn't you
Kenya.
say you are from Somalia?
No. I'm Somali, I said, but I'm actually from a region in Ethiopia. But that's another discussion. The thing is, it used to be obviously not part of Ethiopia. Right now, it is.
So
part,
you guys
and
got
that's why
colonized.
I wouldn't call it colonized. The white British gave it to them, basically. Ethiopians are a poor, starving nation, a poor black starving people. So how can they colonize anything? They can't. Come on, bro. You're giving them too much credit. The thing is, the Europeans, the British actually gave the Ogaden region to them. So I don't blame Ethiopians. In fact, I blame the British. Why should I blame a starving poor African when I should be blaming the person who actually was the one giving it to these other poor starving Africans? It doesn't make sense. So you give them too much credit, and I see a lot of Pan-Africanists give Ethiopians too much credit, even though they don't like you guys. They hate Pan-Africanists, Ethiopians. So that's not the point. The point is, on this topic, tribalism, it has its benefits. It has its benefits. You have predatory people talk about and tribalism is bad, but the reality is tribalism works. Sometimes it doesn't, but for the most part.
Are you an African? Are you an African?
I don't care about that term African. I'm not African. Get the heck out of here, bro.
Are you a black person?
What is African? What is African? African is a continent, my friend, and it comes from the word African. The word African comes from North Africa. So you're basically using.
Are you a black person? Are you black? You call the Ethiopians blacks?
Macron, mute when somebody's talking because you.
You look? Is that's what I said. This so-called Ethiopia is Black Americans bringing this Ethiopia towards us, or Haile Selassie went to deceive the Jamaicans and call itself something else. I've never really seen the Ethiopians and Somalians as part of me. They are not sub-Saharan.
Well, Kidola, yesterday you missed the show. So do you think this Somalian tribalism also, can Africans learn from that?
Look, we are far from them. You understand me? Learning from them is a total different ball game.
No, what I mean, what not to do.
I don't really understand their system. I already understand the West African system. You understand me? I already understand where there's people that look like me system. All the way to Zambia.
But they said they're Africans. They are people.
They're not.
We aren't African, my friend.
These are people who are selling the Tanzanians and the Bantu Kenyans to the Umar. That's why if you go to Umar today, you see some kind of black people. These are Tanzanians and Kenyans. You say, how can you deal with middlemen? These are slave dealers. You understand me? They sold people that look like me. You understand me? So you cannot really deal with people who
we don't look like you, my friend. We don't look like you. I don't look like you.
Don't you see the way we bring that the Ethiopians? They even look like you people like closer to Yemenis. Ethiopia is not part of me. I don't understand. No, but let me tell you the truth.
Yeah. When we talk about African, Kidola, I'll let you finish. When we talk about Africans, right? We in 2024.
Right.
Let's just take the mask away, man. Let's look at reality. Let's not lie to one another. You know, Africa, that's why I'm saying we have to redetermine the terms and redefine things and to make sure African understand. Africa, listen, I'm Africans. It means nothing to me, Afrodamas. I'm 20, it means nothing. Anybody can be African. So why we trying to say, oh, he's not you? Kidola, let's come up
Yeah,
with new terms.
but
Let's
St.
come up
James,
with new
even
terms.
St. James, even you do recognize that there are even Mostly people in northern Ghana too, because the territories is divided,
Did
but
not say
is
it's an extension? Did not
yeah,
say it's an extension? Northern Ghana
it's
is my
extension.
country.
Oh, okay. Because
I said that.
I do know, like, I grew up with a lot of Mostly people within the Zongo community.
Where Zongo come from? Zongo is my tribe.
Yeah.
I've told you that. You know, but what you guys don't realize is the fact that you guys are, I don't even want to go there with you, man.
Yeah, but Zongo is a minority though. Zongo is a
Ghana
hold
has
on.
been a Ghana, man. Listen,
Yeah.
I seriously, what we
Yeah, but
did together,
hold on.
what we did together, even Kwame Nkrumah and the first president of my country. You remember? I don't know if you know. Afadams, let me tell you something. The first time Kwame Nkrumah came to Burkina, called Upper Volta at that time. He came, he landed in Burkina, and he went to see the president. They got together. They walked all the way to the border together. Two presidents to the border. They kicked the border and they said, "It's over. One country." Kwame Nkrumah and my president did that. When Kwame Nkrumah got overthrown, my president was like, "Hey guys, okay, are we continuing this?" The Ghana side was like, "Hell no, hell no. This is part of the history I learned when I went back home because I have to do research and I have to understand why we never came together. You know, if we can fix that, then yeah, we can." When I heard that, I was like, "Damn!" So these two guys did this, and he did it. No, he said Kwame Nkrumah came. He said, "No problem." They walked to the border, Zongo. They like the visuals. People saw it. No, let's cancel the border today.
Yeah, they had the elites had a conversation, but you know you have to understand that there's always interest of the elites from these countries. You know, I'm not going to relinquish this power or authority to another
Why
group.
after the death of the guys, nobody never brought up that conversation? Why?
Yeah,
Why?
because I mean
Do
a
you
lot.
do
Because
you
I
know
mean,
some of our people? We still do our rituals in Ghana, and the
yeah,
Ghanaians come to Burkina and do their rituals, and then we have borders, and we have to pay a fee to go to the to go to the port. This is
yeah.
ridiculous, my brother. That's tribalism. It doesn't work.
Yeah, it's just the mentality of the elites. You know, that's what I'm saying. That the way a lot of us operate is still on the tribal, level. That see
Then
a
James,
country
you
like
cannot.
let's just give an example. Like in the case of the U.S., like we all recognize that the blacks and other minorities, like the Asians, they are minority groups. But you look at the contribution they offer to the American economy is significant, right? So if you do that, the same thing to other groups within your respective country, just imagine how much you'll be losing towards your country's economy. It's just mind-boggling because a lot of people don't want to look at it that way. But instead, those tribal, the minority, are going to migrate and go to other countries and contribute to the other country's economy. That's why when you hear a lot of Africans say, "Oh, I don't feel belong over here. I want to go back to my own country," I'm like, which country you and who want to go? I mean, you are a majority over there, so obviously you enjoy some kind of privilege in that country, but a minority group they don't. So they always see
Zongo,
foreign
let me tell you,
countries as a
Zongo,
refuge.
let me tell you something about a dynamic that maybe you might not know. Like I told you, my tribe is the Mosi tribe. We are like over 65% in Burkina, right?
Yeah.
Some of the, the best president didn't come from our tribes. You know it. Traore is
No,
not a Mosi guy. Sankara was not a Mosi guy.
oh,
But these
really?
are the best. Oh, of course, Traore is not Mosi. Traore is not a Mosi dude, but he's beloved. Right after Sankara is come number second.
I
Yeah,
think
I know none of those two
he's
people.
Malinke, right?
Yeah, somewhere like the
I
Judah.
thought Moses are from Ethiopia.
So you see, even
Or is it a different one?
No,
even
most tribes.
Alfredamus, even when Sankara became prime minister before he became president. A lot of people were like, "Oh yeah, he's half Fulani. We had problem with the Fulani." Who is cheering Sankara even after his death? The Mosis. So when you talk about majority, you got to be careful. This because there is that impression that the majority is not about progress. You know, even when Traore came and he was talking that talk, people were like, "Yo, man, he's trying to mimic Sankara." After that, by the time we speak now, he did more than Sankara. People don't even realize it. He already did, but people are still. The mind is still in the past, you know, because sometimes you have to take the torch and do better. You know, what I don't see in Ghana is that conversation we had in the past. You know, why Burkina has to go with Mali and Niger, and Ghana is looking at it like, yeah, we don't care. You should be curious. I'm not saying to join, but you should be curious.
Zongo, don't you feel lucky that, you know, if that oil kingdom had crossed over and taken Ghana, you would be speaking Yoruba today.
I mean, that was, you know, like even the Gan, okay, you know the Gan tribe, actually, the one in the coastal region of Ghana, they actually originate. They are part of the Yoruba people. They migrated. This is like a historical knowledge that people know from Ghana, like the Gan people.
Oh, they are Yorubas. So
No,
they are
like
Mike's people.
No, they're not Yoruba. They migrated from that region. You know?
Oh.
Maybe it was due to conflict or some reason. I don't know much about the Ghana people's history.
Well, it was peaceful back then.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't, right? So I think that's where, like, when people say in terms of like historical similarity or shared history, that's where a lot of people speak about tend to speak from, right? But even Ashantis, Afidamas, I'll tell you today, Ashantis, I mean, based on inner conversation when I listen to them speak, a lot of people say even the Ashantis are mostly even short people.
They are what?
They are short people by nature, actually. So they used to marry among the northern Ghanaians.
Is Maya Ashanti?
I think he's a Fanti guy. It's the Western region.
Spot, man?
Yeah. So the Ashanti used to marry among the northern Ghanaians, probably people from the Mosi, because the Mosi people, and I'll tell you today, even in Ghana, some from the community, I would say northern Ghanaians, in terms of strength, putting cutlass or guns aside, they are way stronger than the Akan people, actually.
Ooh.
It's a common knowledge. Everybody knows about it. Even when the British came, most of the military people are from the northern Ghanaians. But for some reason, I think the Ashantis, they are just good politicians. They know how to talk, but they don't know how to fight. Right?
But how did they fight the British for 100 years?
I mean, because like they married among the northerners and they made them part of their own group. It's just like how a lot of people come to the US, they marry black, marry white people, and they made them part of their own culture. So that's how they tend to have maybe tall people among their midst. But historically, if you do their saliva test, you're going to see a lot of people from the north in their blood. So the whole idea of tribalism, if you do this saliva test, many people might even trace their people to other groups. So it just doesn't make sense, you know?
Longo, I got a question for you, real quick. The Ashanti, right, is the bigger tribe in Ghana, right?
Yeah, the Ashanti, the one from Kumasi.
Did they ever battle? Did they ever have to face Samuri?
Which group is that?
Samuri Toure.
Oh, Toure.
Oh, you mean in Guinea?
Yeah. Would they fought like beside the European or whatever? Would they fought in West Africa? And
I don't know. I'm not really from the Ashanti people, so I never.
I'm just asking. It's Israel Ghana, so you should know. Would they fought like what was the best battle that was ever fought in Ghana, like beside the European?
I would say, I mean, because our history actually begins about the formation of Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
So, like the way Ghana was formed was like divided into three main parts. It was the bond that was signed by the Fanti people and the people in the coastal region, right? It was the Ashantis are the ones that revolted against the Europeans, right? That's why people tend to speak highly of them. But the Northern Ghanaians, they were convinced to be part of Ghana through like persuasion or convincing to be part of Ghana. But still strong. He probably is an Ashanti guy, might be able to give
so
more.
So basically, they fought nobody.
Oh, so strong. So strong. Like, you was gonna jump in that.
Man, St. James, man. What was it? Burkina Faso? Ivory Coast? Burkina Faso?
Who's talking, man?
Hey, St. James.
What's up?
What's up, man? Man, what's up with you guys about Ghana, man? Always talking shit about Ghana, man. What's up with that?
Hey, this is family. We gotta talk about family, right?
Man, we're gonna talk about family, man. But you guys always making it seem like Ghana is. But come on, man. Hey, if we talk about
Ever since Ghana when they made it public, we gotta go public, right?
What about our president coming to your country? Well, like 2 weeks ago. What was that about?
Which president?
Still strong. Let me
Akufo-Addo.
respond. Let me respond to St. James. I
Yeah.
think you don't understand the Ghanaian politics because the current government,
Yeah.
they are MPP people, and those people, they've always been pro Ashanti ethnic group. They were against Nkrumah. They were against other ethnic group, right? It's rather the opposition ethnic group, like with the NDC government, that have been inclusive of all minorities. You know, because the Muhammad, then president, is from northern Ghana. His vice president from another minority group, right? But they have been inclusive of everybody. You know, that's why if you go to Ghana, people from the Zongo communities, they historically have been supporting the NDC group. It's just like in America, minorities historically support the liberals over the conservative. It's the same thing.
Zongo.
Akufo-Addo has
Zongo.
never been Pan-African. Their current government, they've never been Pan-Africans. You know, they've always been pro-Ashanti supremacists. You know, it's always been like that. You know, but now I think they've managed to change a little bit because they realize that hey, maybe
No, Zongo.
Ghana
No,
is
I
more
understand. I
Pan-African than
understand.
any
I
other
understand the
country.
politics in Ghana. You know why I understand the politics in Ghana?
Mhm.
I don't follow the politicians. I follow the people. You know.
But
I
St.
kind of
James,
listen to
I
the.
got a question for you, St. James.
Sure. Go ahead, my bro.
Akufo-Addo came to your country like I think 2 weeks ago.
Oh, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, a week or 2 weeks ago. You
Okay.
don't know about that?
No, I haven't seen that because I was the last week.
Yeah, but
I was
so strong.
busy.
What ethnic group do you come from? So strong.
I'm a Khan.
Which, are you Ashanti from
something good is
Kumasi?
gonna happen?
Zongo, somebody wrote GH letter said Ado is Akian.
Achim,
Not
yeah.
Achim.
Achim,
Not
yeah.
Yeah, he's a Khan too. He's a Khan.
Yeah,
Part
yeah,
of
but he's
Ashanti
within
and
the
all that.
Akan
But it's
ethnic.
still Akan supremacy.
Yeah, Akan supremacists, yeah. But yeah, that's why Nkrumah was ousted from power after Damas because Nkrumah had a great
Nkrumah
vision.
is a Khan too. But
Yeah, but I mean,
answer my question.
they kind of saw him as a lesser tribe, you know. Because if you read the history, those people went to the Queen and told them they weren't even ready for independence when Nkrumah was fighting for independence. Wow.
Zongo, but
They wanted.
you gotta listen, James, answer this question. Akufo-Addo went to your country. How come you don't know about it? But you have all this.
No. Like that's what I'm telling you. The past week, I was busy doing
Exactly, but
something
you
important.
over
You
here.
know.
You over here on this platform making it seem like Ghana is not doing anything.
Oh no.
Listen. Is in your country right now. He was in your
Let
country
me tell you
last
something.
week.
Let me tell you something. I was even home when it's not the first time Akufo came. The last 8 months he was there. I was
Okay,
even
so
back home.
why
So,
do you
no. He came. Listen. Let me tell you something.
What?
Let me tell you first time when he came, right? Because you don't want to hear this.
Go ahead.
You know what he came to do? He came to apologize.
Okay.
Sorry. He came to apologize. No. He came. The reception wasn't very good because the president didn't even want to meet him.
Maybe he went to
He
spy
was
for the
supposed to meet
CIA.
the prime minister. He
Yeah,
was supposed to meet.
yeah. I think Tuare didn't even greet him. He didn't shake his
Right.
hand.
He was supposed to meet. Let me tell you. No. I got intel about this. I'll tell you. He was supposed to, even when leaving Ghana, he was told he was meeting the prime minister. The president was not in the mood to meet with him. So he came, and the president, people that I know, pushed the president. Say, oh, you know what? He's the president of Ghana. We family. Go meet him. If you watch the videos, the guy wasn't even happy to be there. You know, he just gave him that dap. He wasn't even happy to be there. But this is how you fix a fracture. You know, because when you went public, people didn't understand. Let me tell you something again. The Russian had a gold mine in Burkina before even this terrorism situation started. I listen to shows when people talk about Russia. Russia has been in my country before even the.
James, we're not talking about that. We're talking
No,
about Ghana.
that's what I'm telling you.
What about
The
recently
president
when
went
he
to
came
talk.
over there? What was that about? He was over there. It's all on TV. Go look it up.
So
it's
what?
all on TV. What was that
So
about?
what?
But my point is, you always making it seem like Ghana does not show love or something. It's
Okay,
always...
okay. Tell me, okay, how did Ghana show love to us? Tell me, how did they show?
Tell me
Actions.
any,
No,
tell me any,
no.
tell me
Actions.
Let me ask you a question. Tell me any other African country in the West Africa that came to your country that was in ECOWAS, apart from the three that's out. Tell me any other African country that came
I
over there.
mean, Ghana show love. I mean, electricity from the
Any
Kosovo down goes to
what?
Cote d'Ivoire.
We just built a train track that's coming all the way from Ghana to Ivory Coast. What about that?
Togo
And
came
it's
about.
still going on
Togo
right now.
came. Togo
Huh?
came. You want the
I
name?
think
I'm giving you the name. Togo came. Even country outside of ECOWAS came. You can't limit
of
it to
course
West
outside
Africa.
of ECOWAS. You talking
Outside of
about
ECOWAS.
ECOWAS.
Okay,
Let me tell you.
St.
You
James,
look.
St. James,
Oh,
you have
okay.
access to the
Everybody
seaport.
have
You
all
have
this
access to
smoke
the
for
seaport.
Ghana, but
No, I don't have a smoke. I don't
everybody
have
do.
a
But
smoke.
Access
No,
to
no,
the
my
to be
bro, my
seaport.
bro.
honest,
Listen to me.
Guys,
Listen to me.
guys, one mic, one mic.
Afrodamus.
be
Let me
honest,
explain myself. Let me explain myself. Ever since this situation started, did I even mention Ghana doing anything? I always tease Zongo. We talk about it. We go back and forth. I never tease
it
Ghana
don't seem like it.
until
It doesn't.
until until we saw the visual of your president in the United States. You went public with it. We have to go public with it.
Yeah,
That's all
but
I'm
I
saying.
mean,
And we're
Come on,
gonna leave it
man.
at that.
but we
It's
didn't
just
support
we
that though.
keep it.
Like,
No, no, no.
I'm from Ghana,
I
but I don't
saw a
support
lot
that.
of Ghanaians who didn't support it. I'm not a clown. I saw a lot of Ghanaians who said, no, our president was wrong doing it. So I'm not condemning your country. I'm condemning the president. You know, I love the
Yo,
Ghanaian
our
people.
president have done more in West Africa than any other
Yeah,
African
but
president
so
right
strong,
now.
so strong.
Be
See,
honest.
hold on, so
What?
strong. Let's be honest over here. The current party in power, historically, they've never been Pan African. So if you
Which
say that
which is
uh,
fine.
you are
Which
not
is fine.
providing good information to the audience,
So
right?
what did Ghana do
It's
to
the
fight
other
terrorism in
party.
the Sahel?
The
What did
other
Ghana do to
party.
fight terrorism in Sahel? Please give me the actions. What did they do
To what?
to fight terrorism in the Sahel? What did Ghana do?
That's not our problem. That's your problem.
Okay, now you here talking big talk, and I'm
That is your problem.
thank you.
Look, what you guys don't understand is, look, everybody is
And I
not
told
gonna
you
look.
this is
No,
our problem.
they have it, they have it. I mean,
Everybody's not gonna make it.
Afinamas has said that.
Guys, guys, hold on. I gotta read this. MS Delta, MS Delta. Thank you for the super chat. It says, speaking of tribalism, I'm glad I got my Gambian Kuntekinte DNA and muscles. Guys from Ghana are still skinny.
Afrodamus. Let me tell you a story. My
Thank
brother,
you
my
for the
brother who
super
came from
chat.
Ghana, right? My brother who came from Ghana. My brother who came from Ghana. Let me tell you a wise story. When the situation started in Mali, right, in the early 2010, I believe 2010, 11, we were chilling in Burkina Faso, man. We were like, yeah, this is a Malian situation. We don't care. You know, we didn't care until it came to us. You know, until it came to us, like in full force. So we kind of understood countries need to work together. Tomorrow, if you wake up, right, and these terrorists, they overpower Burkina, trust me, Ghana is gonna need much more help than us.
Well, that's why Ghana's
Trust me.
president said,
Yeah, okay.
they allowed the US base to to do a
Yeah,
joint
This is
yeah,
people,
but
Afrodamus,
I'm
people are
gonna say
talking
one thing though.
Look,
joint.
Afrodamus,
St. James,
St.
Afrodamus,
James, St. James,
people are
Let me tell you
talking
one
about it,
thing.
right?
St. James,
St.
St.
People are
James,
James,
people, no,
St.
let me
James.
finish. People are
St. James.
talking about it, right? Like it's like a group of 50 or 100 terrorists, right?
Yeah,
Who are there just doing this to others.
St. James. Let me
You
tell you
don't
one
under,
thing.
you don't understand the international implication. You don't look at it at the national level. Don't
St.
look
James.
at it as like Mali, is Niger, is Burkina. If you don't understand the international implication of these terrorists being in that place, you are lost. I
But St.
listen to a
James,
lot.
they are begging you guys to come back to
Why?
ECOWAS.
Why they are? Why
St.
they are?
James.
Hey
There's a
man.
reason why Ghana is the most peaceful country in Africa, okay?
We were
That is
peaceful
never
like
gonna
just
happen.
Ghana, right?
It's never gonna happen.
Yeah, but I'm gonna
Okay.
say
Never.
St. James. St. James.
Uh-huh.
It will not
Akufo-Addo,
happen.
he come from the middle belt of Ghana, right? See, the other party, the NDC party, President Mahama, he used to be the president of Ghana before, right? He come from northern Ghana. I think he would have he would have been able to do a better job than even Akufo-Addo because historically, ethnic values, history, shared history, he understands the people from southern Burkina better than the Ashantis in the middle belt, right? So you have to take all this account into factor when doing this evaluation about Ghana. It's not always. It's
I
just like the
don't.
same.
Zongo, I don't blame Ghana, man. I don't
Yeah.
blame Ghana. Ghana.
Mahama would
Guys,
have done better job.
the
Yeah.
conversation is going great, but we're gonna,
There's
do
nothing
our
Ghana could do to make you guys happy.
our closing statements. It looks like we're gonna need a part 2 on this one.
Yeah, let's
So
do a part 2, man. I would appreciate it.
yeah, we would have to do a part 2,
And
before the
bring Zongo the sweet talker, the Ghanaian sweet talker.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Let's do a part 2 for Ethiopia.
St.
That thing.
James,
Let's
St.
do a part
James,
2.
Hold on, Macron, what did you say?
Let's do a part 2 with the Ethiopian and then bullcrap. Let's do a part 2 in the future.
With Ethiopia colonizing Somalia?
I told you it's not colonization. Okay, dude. I think for some reason,
annexation.
bro. A lot of you black.
No, the Somali
African
president
folks,
said that. The Somali
no,
president.
okay, and he's retarded for that. If he said that,
He said
he's
it.
retarded.
Yeah, but Afdamus, the Mohammed guy yesterday, he stays in the US,
Ahmed?
right? Ahmed,
Who?
he stays in the US, right? Ahmed.
I'm not sure.
Because he was the one who says he doesn't recognize minority. And that was like
No,
shocking.
you're talking about Rashid.
Rashid, right? He stays in the
Yes.
US. Oh
Yes.
my god. And he's been in the US for 30 years, but for some reason.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how long someone has been in the diaspora.
Afrodamus, a lot of you black African folks worship Ethiopia. It's kind of crazy. Like you're on their dick.
What do you
24/7.
mean? What do you mean?
A lot of Pan-Africanist weirdos, they worship Ethiopians, even though Ethiopians consider them slaves. Like literally, these people are racist.
Kidola answer that question to you.
Kidola,
It's not
you
a
say
West-
what? Is Kidola doesn't worship Ethiopia?
No. I said
a lot
Kidola
of-
answer that question for him.
A lot
Kidola
of us
just
are not
told you.
Pan-Africans on this platform.
We're
by the way.
talking about
We're not
Ethiopia
Pan-Africans.
because of certain group of people. West Africa, like I told you. For us, man, like I told you, we took the glasses off our eyes, man. We know who is African, who is not, who is pretending, and who's not. West Africans know. We play along the game. Don't think that we don't know. If there is a flag, if there is an African flag, us living in the diaspora, we know who can put that African flag on his back and be proud of it. We know those people, Until certain people came together, we know who was chanting Africa across the world. We know. So let's not lie to one another.
Afro, 1 second, I actually respect that. That's a great thing to say. But some Pan-Africanists, you see, they idolize and worship Ethiopians, even though Ethiopians consider them
Black Americans. They don't know them.
But Macron,
It's like, so Afrodamus, I'm gonna give you something to say. I want to say something. I'm gonna tell you, don't interfere between Ethiopia and Somalia. We're gonna kick their asses. Don't interfere. Okay, don't interfere.
What? You don't want me to bring the news to analyze it?
No, bring it. I'll be there. I'll analyze it fairly. But to really say a poor starving African nation is colonizing another African nation, it's a joke. It's really a joke.
What is your military size, my brother?
Ethiopia is not Europe. Okay, it's not Europe.
What is your military size? I'm just asking a question.
Wait, what'd you say?
What is your military size?
What do you mean?
What's the army of Somalia is made of?
Bro, I'm from Ethiopia, bro. Like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, moving on. Like, what the hell is this dude talking about? Crazy West African guy. But yeah, anyway.
You guys Somali, Ethiopia, right?
Listen,
so hold on.
Dude, I'm from
you see what size foot? You know my foot size? I wear size 47. I'm gonna put that up your ass.
I don't care. You're West. I'm not gonna waste my time with the West Africa, bro. I'm gonna be honest, my friend. I'm not gonna waste time with you.
Listen, we are not in East Africa playing with you guys, man. If I catch you, I'm gonna put my foot up your ass. You understand?
Guys, on that note, let's do our closing statement.
Okay, Macron.
Guys, hold on.
You said you are Somali in Ethiopia. So where does your allegiance lies? Is it from the
Okay, can I answer Afrodamus? Afrodamus, can you answer?
30 seconds.
Okay, 30 seconds. My people in that region and a lot of the other regions, we are tribal first. We don't even believe in Ethiopian nation. You have the region of Harar. They don't believe in a Tigray. They don't believe in Amhara region. Now they're fighting against the government. Majority of us are trying to get independence. We don't care about Ethiopia. We want our own nation. So to answer your question, I would be loyal to my own nation, just like Tigray wants its own nation and Oromo region wants its own nation. Everybody in Ethiopia wants their own nation. So there you go to answer your question.
That's a bullshit we're talking about. Everybody want their own thing, just they can feel better about themselves. When you even have nothing, you want to separate. Look at Sudan. Look at Sudan. As an African, are you proud of that? Are you proud of that?
He's just
Talking about
delusional.
Tigray. Ever since we know Ethiopia, you guys have been fighting. Aren't you tired of this? There is enough mineral, enough for all you motherfuckers, and you guys just want to fight
over nothing.
Guys,
Man.
let's do closing statements. Closing statements.
These
All
guys
right,
are savages,
let's
man.
start with Kidola. Kidola, closing statement.
Okay. This beef is a family beef. It's a family analysis. It's not really serious. I think Ghana is part of a family. Burkina Faso is a strong family. You know, I think West Africans, we know ourselves. We know where we belong to. We know how we came. I think what I see here, tribalism is part of West African culture, actually. It's not going to end. It's not going to stop. But I think we West Africa is getting better now. You can see the intermarriages between all West Africans today is very, very high.
I'm a byproduct, by the way. I'm a byproduct.
Okay. So you can see Malians marrying somebody from all the way to Ghana. Ghana is married to Nigeria. Burkina Faso is also marrying other African countries. I think the African countries are slowly coming together. I think Nigeria learned from their mistakes that they need other people, that they cannot just allow their three brothers just to break away like that just because of a foreigner who came to traumatize them. You understand me? Burkina Faso, Mali, these are family. We were under one flag before. Nigeria is a big family to Nigeria also. So we should try to see ourselves not on the flag of the people that rule us, but see ourselves, yes, this is my brother. I could see it, I could cry, I could feel his pain. You understand me? We should look at these things as part of our motivations, part of how we can grab ourselves and say, brother, I miss you. I want us to be together. Let's see what we can do for ourselves to better everything. I like the Burkina Faso president, the young guy. I think he's doing pretty well. He cared about other African countries. I think he was very disappointed with the coastal areas for what they were doing. I think they did really left. It was a brother who just said, you know what? Is that how you would do? Okay, we do our own, you put do your own then. I think along the line, the other brothers understand, look, man, you cannot just allow your brothers just to go away like that. Don't allow them to go to the Moroccans who will want to, it's not going to work. I'm happy that they all restore everything back. I think we should try to understand that these are the rulers of these territories and they want the best.
And Kidola, Ghana is so lucky, they would have been under the Yorubas.
Never.
But see, you made a valid point. See, you made a valid point earlier, but a lot of people miss your point. You made mention of Japan with zero natural resources, but when you look at the country's economy,
okay, have a great day, man.
Thank you, Kidola.
Yeah.
And also, let me read this real quick. Ms. Delta said, as the first FBA dictator of Africa, Ethiopia and Burkina Faso get 20 kilometers to the sea, and not Senegal soldiers in Gambia. I will be a good dictator. Yes. Make sure you give them that 20 kilometers in the Somali coastline. They have the longest coastline.
If an FBA slave comes near us, we're gonna kill that FBA. I'm telling you. How dare they say that stuff?
You see that language? You see that language, man? I told you, Alpha these people know nothing, just fight. It is what it is, man. You can't build with these people.
Okay, sorry, Zongo, go ahead.
Let me go next. I gotta go somewhere real quick.
Okay, go ahead, Mike.
Mike, go.
Okay. So the reason I come in here, I just wanted to establish that the difference between tribalism and bigotry. So someone, to me, by definition, tribalism is basically someone showing strong loyalty to their ethnic group. That's what tribalism is defined as. Now you can be a tribalist, being loyal to ethnic group, and not hate someone else, or not be wishing anyone bad, or not be bigot towards another ethnic group. I'm loyal to my ethnic group, so you can call me a tribalist, but it doesn't mean I wish other ethnic group bad or hate someone from another ethnic group. That's not the case. And I also say tribalism and patriotism is pretty much the same thing. And every human being can deny all you want. You're a patriot or tribalist, because if war should start between your group and another group, you're going to fight for your group, whether you agree with the reason for it or not. You're going to fight for the survival of your group. That's just human nature. It's a global phenomenon. In Europe, in Asia, it's the same thing. If France and England started war today, all French are going to fight on the French side, or English are going to fight on the English side. That's just human nature. So we have to learn to distinguish the difference between tribalism and bigotry.
Well, nothing wrong with tribalism, just the toxic part, treating other people
exactly. So that's
unfairly.
and what I'm trying to correct is when people want to discuss bigotry, they call it tribalism, and I'm like, no, that's not the same thing. When we see somebody hating another ethnic group, we say he's a tribalist. No, he's not a tribalist. He's just a bigot. That's what it is. It's two different things. So we bastardizing the word.
Afedamus.
Yeah,
I'm gonna just ask Mark a question, just a question before he leaves. I never get to ask that questions. Mike, was France a key player in the war in Nigeria, the Biafra war?
Yeah. The Western countries play a game. They just
no. French.
France. Yes. France played a big role, very big role. What they did was
played a big role in your country.
Yeah. What the French, they actually played the Igbos, man, because what they did at that time was when the war was starting. Of course, the British, wanted Nigeria to stay one because that's their interest. But the Biafra, the Igbo guy, the general, the Biafran, they wanted a country. They wanted to go somewhere to go get weapons. So on their way to the Soviet, the French double crossed them and say, "No, don't go to the Soviets. We'll back you. We'll give you the weapon." But what they didn't realize was that the French is the same. It's part of NATO with England. So it's like you're thinking French is behind you. Is pretty much thinking England is behind you. So what happened was the French are only giving it weapons that's not as strong as the weapon of the Nigerian state. So they got played. So that was the role the French played. And then also in the midst of it, the French kind of made Ojukwu to sign away certain territory to Cameroon. Like the Bakassi, the Hoy where Bakassi is supposed to belong to Nigeria. He went to Cameroon. So that was the role the French played. Huh?
So what I was trying to get at was that as a Burkinabe, we don't even have to talk about the French with Nigerians, right? So you guys know them well, right?
Yeah, we know the French.
So
we know
why? Like, listen, I hear a few Nigerians like the past 2 days, the most ignorant conversation I never heard, like coming from that side. You outside of me, Mike, who's from Burkina, you would never hear Burkinabe click on the link and be that dumb. But I'm
we'll have to do a part 2 on this sentence. We will have to.
So that's what I'm like. I'm worried. This worries me because when I'm, like I said, as a Burkinabe, that's why I asked you that questions. These guys, they played a big role in your country. And when we speak about the same thing that's happening in the Sahel, these people don't even seem to cross their head around it. That's why I'm worried. Are they reading the same books like this, like us, or we are not?
So you have to understand, not all Africans are enlightened. A lot of people everyone, even a monkey can go on the internet and start talking, so it's not everybody that's on the internet.
Thank you, Mike.
But let me land on this. Let me land on this. We should not bastardize the word tribalism. Let's separate tribalism from bigotry. And Africa coming together to do something great doesn't mean people need to stop being tribalists, being loyal to the ethnic group. We can come together to do something great for the general interest of the continent, but it doesn't have to be abandon your tribe and be black and all that stuff. Those things are just freaking, those are fallacies. It's impossible where a person can abandon his identity and say he's adopting black
No,
or
no,
anything.
nobody's
Even in
saying
Europe,
nobody's saying
that's what a lot of all this
abandonment.
is people like Zongo. That's the way they talk. Oh, you need to stop. Even in Europe, the NATO as they come together to do whatever. At one point, England still pulled out of the EU, so they are still loyal to their ethnic group in Europe, but they can come together to do something for the common interest of all of them.
You better be thankful that the Yorubas did not colonize Ghana. You see how Mike is talking. Thank you, Mike.
All right. Thank you, Alfred.
Yeah, I think Mike still
Hold
missed
on.
the point.
Hold on, let me read this. MS Delta said, FBA slaves in quotes. FBA slaves are 30% of U.S. military. You really want that fight in the horn, Macron? You really want, you really want FBA to show up in the horn? 30% of the U.S.
FBA are cowards. You know, they're cowards. They don't have heart. But like, look at the hoods. Look at the hoods. They're the biggest cowards.
No, we're
I don't know what
talking
you're
about the
talking about.
military, not the hood.
No, Macron, you're mistaken. Check Google AFRICOM, the head American military mission in Africa. It's
Yeah, I
headed by an
understand.
FBA guy. Stop playing with that name.
You're right, but no, look, bro. I'm saying you're right, but he serves white interests. Like he can't do shit that's for Black American interests. He's just a slave. He's a slave, man. Get out of here, bro.
Okay, let's have Macron give his closing statement. Go ahead, Macron. Macron, go ahead.
Yeah.
What happened to him? Macron, something happened to you. Go ahead, Zongo or So Strong, whoever.
Yeah, I think Mike missed the point that I was trying to make, right? See, hey, you look like the country like America, the UK, a lot of countries are operating on nation state level. See their military, their air force, see how they come together to work as a group against maybe Russia. I mean, same thing applies to Russia. You know, a country like Japan, look at how they are operating at that level. See, these are countries that are really working as a nation, not on a tribal level. When you go to other foreign countries, you see Toyota, you think Japan, they produce sophisticated products. Africans, what do? You want to play tribalism? Man, you separating yourself to a smaller country is not going to get you anywhere. In fact, we need to even expand more better because the more groups you bring into your fold, certain group
The
have certain
better.
skills, certain knowledge that you're going to bring on board. You need more cooperation with other countries and other nations, import more goods that's going to help your country to transform into a competitive, country with economic advantage. This idea of trying to separate yourself is all because of poverty and just myopic way of thinking. Let's just think beyond that level. Once your economic standard of living improve, all this separation mentality or way of speaking is going to stop. So think at a higher level so that your
Thank you,
countries be
Zongo,
able
for
to
being a
compete at a higher
Ghanaian
level.
politician. Thank you
Oh
very
wow.
much. Thank you. So Strong, go ahead.
Yeah, for Damas. The only thing I have nothing to say about the tribalism. It is what it is.
Why not? Why not?
Okay, I don't want to go there with it because
That's what the topic is.
Okay, but I just want to say one or two things and then that's it. I'm out of here. But
Okay.
what I have to say is, there's nothing anybody could do to please anybody. Like you could be like you can't please everybody, man. Basically, so what I'm saying is, my president came, did his best, trying to get Africa together. He did his best, but still, people gonna talk shit about him. That's all I got to say. You know what I'm saying?
We talking Kuma or Akupo?
I'm talking about Akufo. Even Akufo. The past 8 years, the things that he have done with Africa. At one point, people love him. At one point, people don't love him, which is fine. But you can't please everybody. You know what I'm saying? He did his best.
So you believe he's a good guy? He's a good president?
He is a good guy.
Thank you. I wanted to
He is a
just
good
hear
guy.
that. That's
The thing
good.
is,
That's good.
He can't please everybody. He would do
That-
at one point. Remember, 2, 3, 4 years ago, everybody was, "Oh, Akufo-Addo was the good guy for Africa." Blah blah
This is
blah.
true. This is true.
Now he's a bad guy. So
Where do you live?
please-
Are you in Ghana or you in the diaspora?
I'm in the diaspora.
Oh, okay, so the feedback is the same from the people that live in Ghana. Are they like what
They're not
Akufo is
liking
doing?
him. They're not liking him right now because of the economy and the things that he said he was going to do for the people. But I'm talking about Africa in general. He's done so much. He's done the best. Like a lot of African countries have not even tried anything, but he
Strong.
have. But what I'm saying is,
I don't see your name clearly, but for me, right? I don't know because you came and you mentioned me. I know it's not a
because I'm
bad
here.
blood between us, right? I get it.
No,
You
no,
know,
no, no,
we good. We
no.
good.
This is
I
like
get your point. But because you go before you go, I just want to tell you, me and Zongo, we've been going at it like for a minute, man. It's nothing personal or
me,
about
me,
Ghana
me,
or
me and you
okay.
have gone at it before. You probably don't
Right.
remember me so strong. We've done this
Okay,
before. But
maybe
but
it's
but
a while ago, right?
yeah. But what I'm saying is that you can't please everybody. At the end of the day, even though you said my president didn't do anything, he still came to your country.
Well,
You
No, no,
don't.
he
no.
did the
You did
he
not
did the year
listen.
of
Listen.
return.
It did a year
He
return,
did. He did a lot of things, and he still
Yeah.
came to your country. Even though you said, "Oh, you haven't been paying attention to the news," but
No,
he
no, no.
came
I
to your
said
country.
the last week
Yeah,
I
he
was
was there.
going through something I didn't get
Oh,
because on Sunday I
exactly.
catch up on Sundays.
But what I'm
On
saying is
Sundays I
that,
catch up. Maybe this in
can I
2 days
please
I
just
would see
go?
the news.
What I'm saying is that he can't please everybody. He could do what he can, and like I said, every country got to take care of their own. That's just where it is. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Everybody got to take care of their
Thank
own.
you
Like,
so
Thank
strong.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please make
Thank
sure
you.
you call again. All right. Thank you. MS Delta, thank you for the super chat. He said, we FBAs, like Afridamas, are Americans and, of course, serves American interests. That's right. Of course. Blue passport. Oh, man, that blue passport will get you to places. I'm telling you. Try, those of you that have it, try using it sometime.
The
Okay.
lounges, you get the lounges.
You get the lounges, you get the swimming pools. I mean, you get the free hotel. I
Oh
mean,
my
try.
God.
That's right, MS Delta. Try using that sometimes. No tribalism on that passport, all right? But thank
Absolutely.
you.
The citizen of the world.
That's right. St. James, you got the last word.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna do it in a few parts. Like, tribalism, yeah, it's a big issue. Like I said, when I first came in certain part of Africa, it's prevalent. In certain part of Africa, people kind of understood it a little bit. But the problem for me, what I was trying to touch on is not about any specific country. It's kind of like when we come together as a West African bloc. I don't even want to talk about Africa because we get to speak about East Africa, the whatever else, that I don't know. When I talk about West Africa and the tribalism, it becomes a problem because we can't move like that,
Right.
because we need to go back and to the
Education.
education, to the drawing board, like what we want to do as a people. You see people for certain reason they want to separate themselves and they are being called outcasts. I don't like to be called outcasts. It comes from situations that are not sustainable, because when you are called little, or you are called unproductive, or you are called non-contributing factor to something, you kind of rebel yourself. It can be tribalism too, because I'm tired of being put down,
I
like
think
you said
some people
yourself.
they probably, like I said, how they were socialized. So those
Absolutely.
old thinkings, those caste system, I
Yes.
think people, because they are no longer of any use in this
Absolutely.
21st century.
You
And
look at
you look at
yeah,
Africans are fighting to go to
yeah,
other nations that are prosperous. So
absolutely,
we should look at those people, what make them
absolutely.
prosperous, like how
You
they
know,
interact with one another. I mean,
ab-
no human society is perfect, but there's nothing
absolutely.
wrong
You
in
know,
learning the best things
systems.
from
Yeah.
systems from other
Mhm,
societies. And when I say tribalism, I'm not
mhm,
saying no, people shouldn't identify with who they are, but
absolutely.
when you think, like, okay, I'm from this tribe, this person is from that tribe,
Mhm.
they are no good. You cannot think beyond
No, no,
the
it's not
tribal
good.
thinking. That even it affects business. Like, how can we even make
Absolutely,
money? Can we make money together? You know what I'm saying?
absolutely,
This
absolutely.
is why I think subconsciously, if you look at it, African leaders gathered together to go sit in front of the Europeans. Look at it, they bring Africans as a block to come and, you know, state their case.
Absolutely.
And you know, like you look at somebody who have like just tribal leanings, their even their approach to the greater good of the nation is hard to implement, because
Absolutely.
you're thinking along, oh, okay, maybe I should be bringing this project to an area that is predominantly people, you know, from my region. You see what
Make
I'm
no
saying?
sense.
It makes absolutely no sense. Those are the
Makes no
type of
sense.
things I'm speaking about, you know, or saying, oh, these people, I look down on them. We can share a food. We can share food with them. You know, we can marry these people. You
Yeah.
know, like I'm not saying, you know, like it's your choice to say,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
choose who you want, but
Yeah.
to base it off of saying, you know, the tribe
Yeah.
that the individual is on, that's what you're against. That
Yeah.
is toxic. And you know, in Africa, it's looking
Look,
like people they don't see it as something, you know, terrible. I
it
think
is.
they
They
know.
laugh
I
at.
think they
They laugh.
know.
They're talking
Some
and
know
laugh
because,
about it, right?
but you see, they don't put it out in the open though.
Absolutely. No, no.
And when
They're
you bring
sneaky
it
with
up,
it.
yeah, when you bring it up, they
Yeah.
deny it. They will
Yeah.
deny it.
Yeah.
But
They're
hey,
sneaky with it. They're
hopefully, you
sneaky with
know,
it.
yep.
Yeah. That's what,
Hopefully,
you know. It's how you call it. It's like hurting somebody without trying to hurt them. Like you know, like you do certain things and the person get mad. You're like, nah, I didn't intend to do that, knowing that you know you trying to cause harm or you trying to, you know, do something to that person, and then it's bad. Africans have to learn a new ways. That's why, you know, in conversation, even when we talk about Pan-Africanism, all these kind of conversations, St. James is no longer there because I went home, my own views about the world changed, shifted, it changed. I'm like, I'm about creating. I'm about
right.
linking up with African who are about creating something different. When you talk about that, I'm with you. When you go into the past and trying to bring old things, and we have no, I'm like, okay, so you being lazy. You're being lazy because some of the things that you're talking about have failed, you know? And the time is now for us to sit down, think about it, leave the BS outside of anything and create something better for ourselves. And people don't want to do that. Like I told you, the past 2 days I'm hearing conversation. After that, I'm lying on my bed. I'm like, okay, if this is the mindset of black people in 2024, we are doomed as a people.
No,
And I
but you
thought
see,
this
St.
was
James, those conversations, you know,
need to be had.
yeah, you can't
You know,
blame
I don't. No, no,
the
no. You
people,
see, I
because the
told you.
thing is, right?
Yeah.
I understand some people, they
Yeah.
would sometimes they come here and they
Yeah.
get heated. They're like, Afridamos, I can't believe you
Yeah.
said this. But that's what this is like, the
No.
outside African
Yeah.
parliament.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
where Africans, blacks from everywhere, you know,
No.
here you have, this is like our speaking corner.
Yeah.
You
Absolutely.
come
That's what I
here.
said. To reach his own. But
Yeah.
I was like, out of all the conversation that was had, you know,
Yeah.
like if I link up with you, you from the Gambia, I'm from Burkina. I'm supposed at a certain time, I'm supposed to understand what Gambia is about. I'm not supposed to
Exactly.
come here and ask dumb questions and think a certain way about Gambia. You would see like, yo, we've been talking for 4 5 years. Are you still at that level? So you would be like, you would be tired. Like, do I even, you at one point you would be like, do we even have to continue this conversation? Because I thought you understand something.
Well, St.
You
James,
know?
should we look for JT, the bigger figure, and send him to go talk to the ECOWAS leaders on behalf of Burkina Faso?
JT can even talk for himself. You know, that's the sad part about it. I hate to put a man down. Afrodamus, I respect anybody, you know. If you took interest in the West African region and you want to connect and you want to, for me, the first thing I look at, I'm a diasporan. I live in the United States, right?
Yeah.
So whatever has I say to Americans here, whether black or white, I have to give the best of me, you know, because this will be the representation of my people as well. When they talk about my country, say, I knew St. James when he was here, he did this and he did that. You know, that's why I said when you go link up with new people, you have to be a pioneer.
Right.
Whatever
You
you
are,
do,
so
people
James, do you agree like the mindset is
yeah.
slowly changing? Because
I hope it
before,
does. I hope it
Because
does.
even though
Mhm.
every now and like some of those conversations people might
Yeah,
think is like negative whatsoever,
but
but it's slowly
no.
changing. Some people are picking up on and understanding that the direction
The first, the
is
first
about
thing is
people changing mentality,
right.
because the
The
fact is we cannot
mhm.
leave this entirely to think that the
Absolutely.
people
The
in
first thing is to
Africa
talk.
are going to change it. We
Right.
here, like I said,
Right.
in the speaking corner here,
Mhm.
you never know whose mind is going to
Affects.
change,
Yeah. Yeah.
who this is gonna touch
Affects. Yeah.
differently.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I get it. That's what I'm saying. The first thing, let everybody talk. Right. Let everybody talk. If you're willing to listen and learn. West Africa is a big. It's a big Africa. Even Africa in general is a big place. No one can sit here. Even us Africans can say, okay, I have the monopoly in terms of knowledge about Africa. We don't. So some people are fortunate. If you come from America, you grew up Americans, you understand America, you know. So Africa has got 55 countries, different tribe, different culture. You cannot say one Africans know it all, you know. So that's
We
why we
could be,
come to
look
this.
at it, we're here almost 4 hours, we didn't even
Right.
touch the surface.
Absolutely.
So that's just how it is, every
That's
day
how it is.
something new.
But my worries, right? When you talk about, listen, I'm gonna tell you like Alpha like when you go outside, right? Let's say your business. The way you talk to me, right? When you go about your business, you're about to render a service for money. For you act different, right?
Yes,
Professional. You try to
professional, they give the best customer service. I make the
right.
customer feel good about
Absolutely.
spending their money,
You
because
are
I'm
on your
giving, because people don't only
abs.
spend the money just based on like
Yeah.
the product or service, but
Right.
they also, because you never know what people
Right.
are going
Because you're
through
you're on your A
whatsoever.
game.
Yeah,
On your A game. You need the
yeah,
referrals. You need the
right,
referrals. You need everything else. So
absolutely.
when you address certain people who picked on a fight for a group of people, and this guy is that young, you got to be careful about what you talk about. When that person tells you, I'm ready to die for something, and he meant it, as a man, you got to sit here and say, even me, I cannot do this. So you got to be humble before you attack that person. If you
Okay.
tell you being a Solinke, if the Solinke come to you and say, Alpha Damas, we picked you as our leader, protect us.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna definitely do the work. That's for
You're gonna
sure.
have to. And can you imagine someone like St. James throwing shot at you? Like, yeah, man, Alpha Damas cannot do this. Alpha Damas is that. Because this thing means death. To
Yeah.
those people that you are protecting, it means death.
I'll
Because
have
if
to
you tell,
I'll have to send my goons to go pick you up.
absolutely, that's what I'm saying as an African, right? Because if you are weak as a human being, you can't even take on roles to lead because your choice is always to sit out behind others, take directions, being given decisions. I don't see you coming in here talking about somebody who picked on a role to lead millions of people. I don't see you
Right.
doing it. You can criticize, you can have legitimate question about the motive of somebody,
Right.
but trying to put that person down because he's doing certain things that you don't understand, that you are afraid to do as a human being, I think is a most careless way that I can present it to somebody. It's wrong. And even as African, you talk about tribalism. A lot of people on the continent are trying to break that barriers. And it has to begin with something. It has
Thank
to
you.
begin with something. So if you don't begin with something, Africa is not going to change. And we have a lot of
Awesome.
people. We have few peoples in Africa who are showing that.
And
Give
St.
them
James,
that respect.
St. James, before you leave,
Yeah.
quick 10 seconds before you
Right.
leave. You said we gotta redefine African, because I thought about this. I'm gonna do a show. Who is an
Yeah.
African? So are you saying we're gonna have to cut out some countries from the map?
Alpha Damas, whoever who's not proud to put that flag on his back, it has to be cut out.
Okay.
Whether
Thank
a
you.
brown
Well,
or listen, Afrodamus, I was the first Africans. First African. I came here, people started talking about Pan-Africanism. I was skeptical from the jump. I said, listen, it cannot be about economics only. This is how these people get you. Like when we kick them out, they say, no, we're going to do business. We're going to try to help you. Guess what? It didn't work out for certain people. It kind of worked out for certain people, but it did not work out. And we had the same deal. Economics is not going to be enough. Pride, being prideful, has to come first.
Look at
be able
Zongo.
to
Zongo
define.
telling me, don't be a hypocrite with this question. Zongo, in fact, I'll have to ask you this next time, but thank you, St. James. Thank
So
you.
you see my point? Like,
yes,
if we
thank
are
you.
together, we cannot be together without being together. That's what ECOWAS mean. We are together, but we are not together.
In fact, I'll have to bring back Lekawasi's latest news. I hope you show up for that. Thank you, St.
Please
James.
bring it back because I got new input that will make you fall out of your bed, you know,
right.
because it is Africans selling other Africans again, you know, and
As
we have
usual.
we got as usual, and we got the receipt for it. Now we
Okay,
got a
thank
receipt.
you.
Before it was like, yeah, it was cloudy a little bit. We didn't want to bring it, but now we can bring it. You know, your own neighbor can be your slave master for Africans.
Well, thank you,
So
St.
thank you.
James. Thank you. All right, guys, that was St. James. Hey, guys, as you know, almost 4 hours we've been here. Great conversation. We can never finish these conversations because the topic is vast. So that's why it has to be done in different segments. You have to remember, when you come on the show, listening whatsoever, there's no need to be upset at the views that are expressed here. Just like St. James has the right to express his view, Macron has the right to do the same thing. Kidola, Mike, Zongo, all the people that called, and you that is in the chat room here, you are your own person. I'm not trying to get you to think any kind of way, but I'm bringing these topics to get you to understand what you're seeing. And it's not like picking on anybody, but I believe that it will make us better human beings because life goes in stages, different stages. We can't all, turn on our cameras and start talking about entertainers like celebrities. You have tons of people that are doing that as it is. Oh, you have other people talking about victimhood. There's lots of other people doing that. These hard topics, people don't want to touch it because either A, they're worried that people are going to be upset at them, or B, they're going to offend other people. I mean, don't you think some of these behaviors is offending people in general? A lot of things that people do, especially this tribalism thing, is offensive. It's offensive to other people. But those people don't dare speak about it. So that's why it's important to have the topic here. We can be cordial and respectful to each other, but at the end of the day, it's all about enlightening, trying to enlighten people, to open our brains to one another. Because a lot of you that are watching like to say, oh, how are we going to develop things? How are we going to do business? The same governments that we like to point fingers at and say, look at they are not competent. We can't expect incompetent group of people to do anything. Not that I'm calling them that, but that's what we like to say. Until you realize the government is not in the business of making money, until you realize that, like how American entrepreneurs, understood it, things will never change. We can, the conversations can get heated, it can get smooth, but it's all in love. And I hope people can continue to extend this love. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Ay, ay. like Bob and I like me too. No roof on my top and my babe see-through. Hating on the pen, don't stop, shit ain't gon' feed you. I've been all on my grind, so why I need you? Baby girl love my Bob and I like me too. No roof on my top and my babe see-through. Hating on the pen, don't stop, shit ain't gon' feed you. I've been all on my grind, so why I need you? Big flex, my swole up. Double cup and I'm pulled up. Niggas hating like hold up. What's the problem? I'm